We are Squawking Dead, a podcast pulverizing episodes of the Walking Dead universe. Sometimes we give you news, sometimes we make you laugh, but most times we go deep. Hey everybody in the chat. It's amazing that you're here right now. I'm so happy that you guys made it here today. Let's just call people out by name, like Alania and Aiden so far.
Reveal yourself.
I will reveal thine self in the chat. Hi, how are you? I love you. I'm your host, David Cameo, and I'm joined by Cosmom09, Rachel Burt, Sharon D, aka Blazing Gardner, and of course, Survivors tier member, Eliza J.
Whoop whoop.
Yeah, that's right. I can do things. Yeah, today we're talking about the third, I don't know how to pronounce this one, the third season finale. The Walking Dead.
The first of three.
The first third. Right? The first third finale.
Yeah.
Right.
Trimester.
The first yeah, well, okay.
Yeah, there we go.
The first trimester of The Walking Dead. It's the 8th episode in the final season of The Walking Dead. For blood. Sorry, I don't know if that worked.
For blood.
Are you not ashamed?
I am not ashamed.
I will say that my notes are very slim on this one, which is always a good thing. It's always a good thing to remind people that when my notes are slim, it means this episode had movement, or we weren't flipping back between 3 different storylines or 4 different storylines. We kind of kept it bilinear. This is very interesting to see that we were mostly focusing on the Reapers conflict, and then every now and again jumping back to Alexandria, watching the entropy take over, what was once the safe haven of our survivors. What did you think of this episode, Eliza? I'm dying to know because you haven't been on for a while.
Here we are defaulting back to the Whisperers' methodology to attack an enemy. And, there was that article that was floating around that said Maggie and Negan, them wearing the Whisperers' mask, shows that Alpha won in the end. I don't know if that's necessarily true, but she certainly showed them tactics, and it does throw the people off. I was not surprised with Leah and Daryl. I didn't trust her. And I really kind of thought she would try to kill him. But, she did give him ample time to scatter away. I'm a little worried about Alexandria. Even more worried, actually, about Lydia. Because she was the last one left downstairs holding the door. And then the next thing you know, the walkers are inside. So either she bit the dust, or maybe she will kill a walker, grab a mask, and try to get the horde out of the house. But I'm like you, it went really fast. We didn't have a whole lot of things to delve into, hidden agendas and hidden secrets or anything like that. I did not trust Leah at all.
And still don't, is the point.
I still don't.
Aiden says if Lydia dies, I will effing riot. And I know he means it too.
Okay, so we don't trust Leah because our group is our group and we love our people. But do you agree with what she did for her people, though? I mean, do you...
acknowledge the fact that those were her people still.
Yeah.
Well, it does kind of ring true with the conversation that he had with her of, I've got to protect my people. I do what I do to protect my people. Mm-hmm. And she acknowledged that, you do what you do to protect your people. I still think it could have been done in a way where she says, oh, one of them shot him with an arrow and I, put him down. I don't think she had to say Daryl murdered him. I think she did that as just a jab, this is it. We're done and there's not anything else of us. Because all she would have had to say was they killed Pope, because we already know that they're inside the gates, but I think she did that intentionally.
Alani's saying at least Leah gave Daryl a head start. Come on.
Yeah,
no, she did.
Yeah.
She did.
Do you think she was just mad that he lied to her? That was her way of getting back at him for lying.
Yeah.
Yeah. History sort of repeating itself in this moment.
I think yeah. Yeah. And I think it was just screw you. You think you're gonna get one over on me? Screw you.
It's such a shame too, because he was almost about to tell her in the last episode and just didn't quite get to it.
Yeah.
And I don't think she would have done that had he not turned and thrown the knife at the guy. I think there was a moment where she killed Pope, and I think she probably wanted to go off with him. But then when he threw that knife and killed her friend, I think that snapped her and saying, no, those are my people. You just killed another one of my people.
Yeah.
And, this isn't going to work.
I agree with you.
How many more of my people are you going to take out if you find out?
And how many more of my people are you going to take out?
And how would have Daryl felt had she done the same thing to one of his people, right? Or, quote unquote, his people.
We still don't know if everybody's going to get out unscathed.
Right. Gabe's inside the building. I'm very worried for Gabe right now. He's
inside. and Elijah is hurt.
Yeah.
It looks like he
And
got a
bleeding,
leg
yeah.
wound.
Yep.
And, Negan got an arm wound.
Took some
And
pizza shrapnel.
And what were we saying about the five senses of walkers? That the smell of blood, that's the strongest. So that was my first panic moment. But obviously I didn't see anything happen in that moment. But maybe we will see something in the next episode at some point.
Hopefully there was so much blood spread around it was kind of masking their blood.
Elijah.
Hopefully there was so much carnage.
Yeah.
Right, it's like the guts trick. There was so much viscera just exploding everywhere that they're covered with enough guts to cover the bleeding blood mess. Which
Ooh,
also,
what if he gets walker guts in his open wound?
Exactly. That's exactly what I was thinking next. Yeah, well, you're damned if you do, you're damned if you don't.
Hey, you can survive without a leg. Cut it off. He doesn't need a leg.
Well, I think they mostly get sick and fevery, right? So
He's gonna go blind like Gabe.
The only thing I regret about the episode was we did not hear from Pope. Why? Go ahead, do it, David. I know you want to.
No, say it. Say it.
Mark, I almost all but forgot
There you
it at this point.
I wanted to hear from Pope.
Yep.
Why he was so hell bent on
Yes.
Maggie.
Me too.
And I was hoping that was going to be the setup when they were in the room talking. That she did it. I really wish Daryl would have said,
What'd she do?
What the hell did she do?
Yeah.
That has made you so angry.
I'm
We
looking
may
at
still
Charity,
get that.
because I want to see what.
We may still get that because Leah is the new Pope, and she will be carrying the same grudges that Pope was carrying. So chances are we are still going to find that out.
Here's my opinion on Maggie telling this story is it's going to be Maggie's version. I want to hear from the Reaper side what happened. I mean, I'd like to hear both sides because then we can kind of piece together what's true.
I have the feeling that it's going to come down to Maggie and Leah. Just the way they were looking at each other over the walls. Maggie was giving Leah the eye, and Leah was looking back at her dead on. And I think
Or
And
right
then
near
is
the
that
end.
gonna-
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then is that going to what is that going to create between Maggie and Daryl?
It's just an extra
Yeah,
layer of
yeah.
how is Daryl going to react to this?
Kind of what I said earlier. Like, how would Daryl have felt if Leah was the one tossing the knife in Maggie's direction? Taking her out. It's same. That's the same thing to her. And I know that Daryl is one of our guys. We're following him this whole time. He's the fan favorite, basically.
I like what Aiden just said. The stare down between Leah and Maggie calls back down the stare down between Maggie and
Carol and Alpha.
Carol and
Yeah.
Alpha.
Yep.
Yeah.
I said Maggie is the new alpha.
When Negan and Maggie were having that conversation on the stumps, he said, "You guys went in and killed my people who had families. How do you think Aaron got Gracie?"
Yeah.
And so it's that whole
Family,
we
too,
get to
found
see
family.
it from the other side. I agree.
Yeah.
I want to hear, whether it's from Leah or somebody else there, Carver or
This is completely contradicting what I said during the last episode when I said don't humanize our enemies.
Yeah. I kind of talked about this in the beginning of the season, how it's leading in this direction of everybody's got to kill everybody. Everybody's got to kill everybody. And, normally, Rachel, I know you agree. Even if it's a preemptive strike, you've said on this show many times, you got to kill them before they kill you. Even if, they're not trying to kill you, you still got to kill them before Yeah, I get it. Okay.
Kill 'em all.
You're a murderous son of a bitch, but still.
Get shit done.
But then, the Commonwealth is coming, and the Commonwealth is the exact opposite, which is not a bad thing in a sense. Bringing in humanity doesn't sound like a bad idea because civilization, being civil, creates societies. But then these two things are going to eventually collide.
at some point it appears in the opening credits that the Commonwealth does go to Alexandria.
Kind of like the comic books, I think.
That's what it's looking like.
I'm a little concerned right now, not so much for our group dealing with the Reapers as I am what's going on in Alexandria. This could be the lead up to Aaron's death.
I kind of wanted to bring in the whole highwayman thing again because it's always good to remember Carol kind of getting Aaron to stop, and then also the idea that, okay, what if the Reapers, and I'm just throwing this out there. You look at Carver, just early in this episode, when Daryl just merely suggests, hey, I could take my bike and lead this whole thing away, right? Oh, was it his bike? Did he say his bike? I don't remember.
think he brought
He
his
just
bike
said
up.
he
He
could
just
lead
said he
him.
could lead him away.
Yeah, something
Right.
like that. I could
Double
hop
back
on,
and- yeah.
double back, right? I'm like, here I am thinking, oh, the bike, from season 6 and all those other seasons where he took his bike and led the horde away. Anyway, and then Carver says, yeah, if you don't have balls.
Yeah.
But which goes to show, these guys, they are just in it. The apocalypse represents to them this constant state of warfare, which they are accustomed to. You could say this is like the best thing that ever happened to them, even though we're slowly just starting to see that the natural conclusion is what kind of happens to Pope. Throwing Bossy into the fire was the first time he's ever killed one of his own or sacrificed one of his own. First of all, for no reason. And second of all, you see him do the same thing with Paul Wells. Openly willing to sacrifice his people to prove that they are the chosen ones in his kind of weird logic.
He's the Jim Jones of the apocalypse.
Wait, Teddy or Teddy or Pope?
No, Pope.
I mean, but okay, let's talk about that because like I don't see him as charismatic. Like, I mean, Jim Jones relied on his charisma purely. Like, this guy's got some strength, tactics.
Pope started with a crew, and that's who he's been with all these years. He's lost some people along the way, but I didn't get the impression that he was taking in new recruits. Imagine
Pope's people, let's say, and it's going to have to be without Pope, and it is. Imagine they just meet up with the Commonwealth and see that, oh, it doesn't have to be this way. Well, what happens to the Reapers?
I don't think they could assimilate.
I don't think so either.
Well, Negan, when he was walking with Alpha to the cabin where he had Lydia, quote unquote, he was talking to her about Lucille. And I think he was looking for that, going back to the vestiges of humanity in her, to say, you don't have to kill your daughter. We all have this grief, and I really think he was looking for her to say, you're right, I don't have to. And I think he would not have killed her at that point. But when she was like, well, this is the way it is.
Kind of like Leah with Pope.
And,
It's her destiny.
It's her destiny.
She has to fulfill my vision.
I think they have become too polluted by always thinking someone's their enemy and always killing.
By being in that constant warfare mentality.
Plunder and pillage.
As a way of life, not as a means to an end. That's the difference. Like, I mean, as a soldier, you are taught that you are a weapon, that's what you are. You are trained to kill. Yours is not to ask why. Yours is but to do or die. That's the motto. And so what happens when you take away the do or die part, like meaning doing what you're told? Okay, then Pope is in charge. And then Pope, what's his authority? Not the U.S. government. It's God.
God.
I guess everybody's is in agreement that like if they saw that there was an option to not have to fight or to abscond with this lifestyle, they wouldn't, right? Because that's all they know. Is that where everybody's kind of landing?
Yeah.
I think so, yeah.
Now, wait. Here's where I flipped the script a little bit. What about Leah? Even in her current state, do you think there's still a chance that she might, if presented the option, she might go, maybe this isn't such a bad deal? I care about my people. I want them safe. I don't know. I'm throwing it out there.
Absolutely. She just brought up the idea of her and Daryl staying at the cabin again. I think she is thinking about what life without the Reapers would be like. But that was also before she found out he lied.
We're not like without the Reapers necessarily. But like, let's say she's in charge of the Reapers, right?
Yeah, I think so.
What does it look like for Leah to be in charge? And then to also have to partially, let's say, make that, or at least present the option of, hey, this Commonwealth shit, I know they're pretty hokey, but...
When she killed Pope, she had the opportunity to stop it and to say, no more fighting, no more killing, no more dying. Let's try to see what Daryl's talking about with his people, and food and stuff.
I don't think any of them would have gone along with her.
That's kind of what I was angling for.
I don't either.
Yeah.
I think they would have killed her.
I think even if she presented, they would not go along with it. They would override her.
Now it's not only because Pope marked Maggie, now we're on a revenge mission.
Now Leah marked Daryl.
As far as that goes, do you think that she is going to go on an active sort of mission against the same kind of mission that Pope is against her enemy, let's say?
I have been thinking about that all afternoon. And here's the thing. I think she has to. She just told the rest of the Reapers that Daryl killed Pope. They are going to expect her to go and avenge him. I don't know if she's going to go into it wholeheartedly, but she's going to have to.
She's already attempting to kill them because she set the Hwacha off on them, and she doesn't know who's out there in that field. She knows Daryl's out there.
She did call her people back.
But I'm saying she doesn't know if Daryl's out there in that mess. So, I mean, she's already proven that she's willing to kill him.
So now I got to talk about the Hwacha. Okay, so the Hwacha is a Korean kind of like a battering. It's basically lightweight arrows with rocket-propelled tips. So what the object is you put them in a high place at least a 45-degree angle, has a range of about 100 meters, and it's really for sieges, for defensive measures. They have been used in naval attacks, but like typically they're used in sieges to kind of propel the enemy backwards, so that you can actually fight them off and maybe stand a chance. This is why I'm a little torn on what might happen next, because if it is a defensive move, and notice that Pope doesn't use it until they're inside the walls or kind of breaching the walls, right? Or wants to use them as soon as they breach the walls because he knows it's going to happen. But Leah, I'm thinking kind of what you guys are thinking. I think there's a little bit of a defensive warfare thing. She's like, you know what? Let's send them a warning. Daryl knows what's coming, so maybe he'll warn his people and get the F out. But then what happens after may be something resembling what you guys are thinking. Heavy is the head that wears the crown. Oh, now you're going to understand the pressures that Pope may have had to deal with in leading his people into the apocalypse.
Kind of reminds you of the mural in the tunnel where they turned on the king.
Oh, the people with the crowns that Daryl was looking at?
Yeah.
Yeah. Acheron Part 2.
Yeah. The privilege in society, etc. Yeah, they get to keep their crowns in the apocalypse, even though they're homeless. Sort of, yeah. But like here in this scenario, it's more like you have these high-minded ideals about saving your people, but like even some of us have even said, Pope's not wrong. Pope/Negan, not wrong. I mean, you got to kill everybody before they kill you, that sort of thing. Don't give them an opportunity. We might see Leah break bad. There's also a chance she might come to reason. I don't know. I don't think it's going to be as cut and dry. And the show is not going to make it that way. Lottie says, we run into the fire. Are you not ashamed?
I am a little sad that we don't get to see Richie Coster anymore.
I am too.
And where's Dog? Where's Dog?
Oh, Dog's dead.
Where is Dog? You shut your face. Shut your face. Where
Dog
is Dog?
You know they replaced him like
Actually,
3 times in the show, right?
Nuh-uh.
Just kidding.
No, they didn't.
I'm
I'm like, what are you talking about?
But what if they did? And you'd be like, oh, okay.
It's still 7.
Yeah.
Maybe Gabe
The
will
rest
find
of the
Dog
series
wherever.
is just going to be Dog deciding who he's going to go with.
He better damn well go with Daryl.
That may be a good question to have. Yeah, you're right. Who does Dog go with? Daryl or Leah?
Oh, the pisser of
But the rest of the
divorce.
series is going to be
Yeah.
Dog deciding who he's going to be with.
Yep.
That's when I stopped covering The Walking Dead. It's just like, you know what? Not interested.
We found Connie. Now where's Dog?
No, you know what? I think I know where Dog ends up. He ends up with Virgil and they just walk off into the sunset. Yeah, that's right. Nobody gets Dog except for Virgil. Right, Aiden? Virgil fan club.
Daryl.
Whoa.
Dog runs away and leads Daryl to Michonne.
Oh, hey, that's a great idea. Aiden's got a rant here. So Pope mimics Shane, losing himself, going insane. That's it. That's a good parallel. Okay. Sorta. I don't. Shane doesn't strike me as anything but practical.
Shane goes crazy.
Well, the foundation of his motivations is practicality, but also his desire to keep Lori too and Carl as his
that's
family,
what makes
right?
him crazy.
But also his logic is foundational. Like, okay, you got to get them before they get you. Blah, 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 but
I get it though, Shane. Lori makes everybody crazy.
I think Pope is more in line with the governor on insanity.
yeah. I mean, one ordained by God and the other ordained by himself, I guess. So the Commonwealth very much mimics Woodbury. Yeah, we talked about that. Like advanced Woodbury, advanced Alexandria. Okay. Well, because of the governor, I also kind of contributed to that. With Lance's introduction acting like the governor, and Pamela being called the governor, right? The Ferals and the Cannibals like Terminus. The Reapers like the Claimers. Would you say I wouldn't? I don't know if I'd say that.
I think it's similar in the fact that Daryl joined them. Daryl joined the group in the same way.
But they're like the exact opposite mentality. The Claimers were all about anarchy. And mind first, individuals rather than like Reaper was a collective thing.
Yeah, that's true. But Daryl did sort of join the bad guys for survival.
As a reflection, but also completely different. Daryl joins a band of brothers. Negan, Maggie, Elijah, and Gabriel have become the Whisperers. Okay. Mercer and the army are kind of like Grady Memorial Hospital. They are not necessarily bad. They think they're doing the right thing. Yeah, I can see that. So there's a little bit of like a little hints of everything. I mean, even this Meridian kind of resembles like Hilltop in a way. Because I remember when season 9, the famous like still shot of Daryl peeking out over the steel walls and stuff like that. Of Hilltop. To the audio podcast, I'm pretending my hands are the walls and you have Daryl looking off to the side. And I'm going to put a picture of it right now, obviously, on the YouTubes. And then you kind of see that here. You see like the Reapers peering over the walls, and Daryl again, callback. There was something else about Meridian that caught me too, like the fact that it's kind of like in between the Hilltop and Alexandria. in a sense, like the way that it's constructed. It has like a vantage point that's high up, but it also has like these steel walls, kind of like Alexandria. So no wonder why Maggie was able to hold it for as long as she did.
Also, how long were Maggie and her people at Meridian, do you think?
I would say enough of a time to feel like they might have succeeded.
I feel like Meridian's pretty close to Alexandria. Maggie didn't bother to
Oh, is this a bone to pick?
swing by and be like, hey guys, I'm going to be 2 towns over.
So I wonder, because that can't be because the crazy storms that are happening in Alexandria are pretty far away.
Yeah, I was thinking about that on my drive home too.
Because I could see that as a bone you'd have to pick after the many bones we picked in the last episode.
The storms didn't bother me so much. I wanted to get mad at that it was storming in Alexandria, but not at Meridian. But then I thought harder about it, because there are plenty of times where it's downpouring here at my house, and someone who lives across the bridge is experiencing nothing. And we're in the same town. So storm patterns aren't really, I mean, it could storm here and not 2 blocks over.
Yeah, on the eastern seaboard, technically, I mean, in large swaths, the storms kind of gather. And so there's not really like pockets. It's usually like big masses. So wherever they are, they have to be far enough away for that pattern to not reach them, I think. Just my experience on the East Coast.
I think it's a decent distance away.
Right.
But
Either way, far enough away. Right.
But I don't think it's like a state away.
We do have a guideline. In fact, I had said, hey, Maggie, what's the rush in the first episode? Actually, I have to say for this season so far, it's kind of great that we get to kind of keep flipping back and forth after seeing new information. You go, oh, that explains that. Or that kind of gives me a little context to that. So I guess Meridian is not a week away, but 3.5 to 4 days away, maybe even 3 days, which is why they have to kind of make tracks, because it's that far away. Meaning, it's probably a decent click away.
Yeah.
You're talking about maybe 100 miles. It's very possible by foot.
We got to remember that they also took that little detour. Well, they were on their way to Georgie's secret spot on the way too. I don't know how much of a detour that is and how it would affect the travel, but
well, and that was supposed to be like a
too.
fail-safe too. Like they weren't really supposed to go for that. They were supposed to go for Meridian, I think, right?
Right.
Right.
She had gone from Knoxville to wherever.
Which is far,
Meridian,
by the way.
Which is, yeah. I wish somebody who had time and didn't do anything else in their life would sit down and make a timeline.
You mean the Map Sisters? You mean the Map Sisters?
I'm
they
telling
mapped out all the Fear the Walking Dead locations?
I can tell you.
We're busy with maps.
Yeah, I can also tell you that I have attempted to sit down and draw out a timeline, and it's not possible because
they don't give us enough, I don't think.
Well, it's wrong. It's wrong.
It's
that's
more
what it comes down to.
That's what
it comes. Yeah, that's what it comes down to.
The only time they've ever given us any time reference was in Find Me.
Sort of.
And
it's not as much
Negan.
the time. Yeah, it's not as much the time as it is like, okay, if you really wanted to plot out the locations, good luck. They're not even filming in the same state, so anyway.
Yeah.
There is a Mount Meridian.
It's in Virginia, isn't it?
Yeah, it's maybe 80 miles from Washington, D.C., which is where they were in the subway, right?
In Alexandria, right?
Yeah. So about 80 miles southwest of Washington is Mount Meridian. And then another, say, 150 miles southwest of that is Knoxville.
That tracks. Oh yeah, you know what? I remember you bringing these factoids up just before TWD aired. Like we actually talked about it before the show, but we never got to talk about it on the show. And that you had these factoids in the pocket. But we got to bring it up now.
How far is Alexandria, Virginia?
Well, I don't know, where is Alexandria?
Alexandria is kind of near DC, basically. Essentially, it's not that far.
I mean,
away.
is it Alexandria, Virginia? I just thought that was the name of the.
No, it's Alexandria, Virginia.
That tracks well with me, and I'm doing math in my head. My drive from here to school is 80 miles. If I had to walk that, I could see it taking 4 days.
Yeah, because the whole logic being it takes 3 or 4 days to get there, 3 or 4 days to get back. So we got to be quick.
Yeah,
Alexandria is a suburb that is due south of DC.
Right, exactly. I've been there.
Mount Meridian is kind of west of
Alexandria, right.
And then Knoxville is a southwest.
We're also assuming that Meridian is Mount Meridian. We don't really know. This is the whole point. We don't really know.
There has to have been some kind of a communication with Maggie Otherwise, how the hell would Carol have known to have left a note at a particular spot that Maggie would have found it?
Thank you for bringing me on track, because obviously the note was a preordained spot before she left or something like that, or communication with Georgie happened through these notes, so that's how they just kept it up. You see hints of this also in the beginning of season 8, where they leave notes in certain mailboxes for the other communities to pick up, so that it's not unusual for them to develop some sort of system. Between you and Rachel, you brought me back onto a topic that actually scared me when I thought about it, because Rachel, you asked the question, why all of a sudden Maggie comes out of the woodwork right now? Is it because of the letter? Why? But why now? Well, it occurs to me that kind of now is when they lost their community. It seems like recently Maggie lost her community. You can see in the way Elijah's still looking for his sister. You can see it with them recently finding some of the people that they know from Meridian out in the wild. You know, they must be coming out of the building or the area where the Reapers must have undoubtedly kept them, I guess, or something like that. And it strikes me that the Reapers, after Maggie's people lost their settlement, Maggie's people got separated. Some of the people went to a nearby building, and the Reapers probably maybe went after them and then boarded up, because the door was boarded up. Boarded up the door
From the
after them.
outside, yeah.
That's right. So it strikes me that these are the kinds of people that will go after people who even think about coming back. This is something we talked about in the last episode.
Yep.
So what made my heart sink was that she kind of came back for her family, her old family. But I think she came back to help her current family. So two things that make my heart drop are, and this might come up, she didn't come back as much for her old family as it is for her new family. And this is the second thing. So that makes my heart sink from like an OG Walking Dead member. It sucks that she's gotten to the point where she's emotionally withdrawn, at least from out there, to reach this point where like she's more pragmatic than she is sentimental. But then what makes my heart drop even more is to think that now that she is here, and now that she is kind of coming online, she's going to realize when the smoke clears, she's going to have that kind of PTSD of like, I just lost all the people that from Meridian. I lost Duncan and the other one.
Agatha, Ross.
Right.
Cole.
Say the names, because I don't remember them for some reason. and Elijah's sister.
Possibly Elijah, yeah. And Teresa.
Yeah.
Did we get Elijah's sister's name? Just Elijah's sister.
That was heart-wrenching scene. Oh, God.
Finding Elijah's sister?
Yes, I just cried. I was
pretty
like,
sad.
oh, shit.
I wanted to be more sad.
Can you imagine? Yeah, well, because you don't.
I felt bad
know
that I
her.
wasn't. Yeah, I felt bad that I wasn't more sad. I didn't feel super connected to either one of them just yet. I mean, it was sad to put myself in the position and think like, what if it was my brothers, or my sister? You know what I mean? Sure, yeah, that's sad. When I'm thinking about, oh, poor Elijah, it was hard for me because I don't know. Yeah, I'm just not super connected to him yet.
I think it was the whole, we couldn't see his face, but you could hear him. And knowing
Whimpering,
that,
yeah.
and knowing that what he and Maggie were trying to do, and the others at that time were trying to lure the horde, he could not do anything.
Right.
Yeah.
That's the hardest part.
That was the hard part,
Yeah,
I thought.
I think that was the
When-
hardest part was watching him have to hold in the emotion when you knew all he wanted to do was break down. That was hard to watch.
He couldn't give her mercy.
Or comfort, right? Here's the thing: he could have a little.
Not right in the moment though. The other walkers would have been like, "You can't do that. You're not a walker. I'm gonna bite you now."
You mentioned a little bit ago, like Elijah seems to be having a hard time. Like now the shrapnel is jammed in his everywhere, basically, and I don't know. It seemed to be close, his leg, his arm, whatever. And then I see Negan, pick him up, and so I thought that was kind of cool. But then I'm just thinking, like, this guy and even Maggie are having such a hard time. Like all of their people are dead. It's like, okay, if we cared about Jadis more, seeing all her people in the meat grinder, okay, that's one thing. But then like slowly having them picked off after trying so hard to stay alive, like that's got to have some consequences. And I don't think they're ready to kill Maggie off the show, even though I know there are so many of you, and I know who you are. I'm staring into your soul. You know who you are. I don't think they're ready to kill her as much as you want that to happen. And if they do, how like stunned would you be in a sense? Because like after picking off one by one, all of her people, and then to have her left, you kind of want her to stick. This is the sick part of me now. Like you kind of want her to stick around to kind of hold the lantern for all the people that she lost. You know, because you're like you're a pervert. You want to see her suffering for the rest of the show, right? This weird kind of you want her to feel emotions again. And so going back to what you said earlier, I mean, these two women staring at each other like Alf and Carol, is that maybe the natural conclusion? Is this going to be all about revenge? Who gets to win in that game? Because it seems like Maggie's losing.
It always has been about revenge from the very beginning.
But that never works.
It doesn't
I
work.
thought we learned that lesson a long time ago with Negan.
The lesson fear tries to teach you.
And Negan, the whole all-out war lesson, right? It has to stop somewhere.
But that has been the whole impetus of the show. I mean, it was revenge against Terminus, revenge against Woodbury, revenge against the Claimers, revenge against the Saviors, revenge against the Whisperers, revenge against the Reapers, and it just keeps going. That's how they're leading up to everybody dying. I think that's where it's going to be the biggest heartbreak for fans is when one of our own turns against one of our own.
Right.
If Maggie kills Leah, is that going to set Daryl up to kill Maggie, or vice versa, or anybody in
Well,
that
let's
group?
hit that one first, because is that I don't think that's possible. Do you think that's possible? Daryl in response killing Maggie?
No.
I don't think so.
I don't think he would have that reaction.
Just considering the cost.
It could be the lead that makes him leave, and that could open up the spinoff. That could open up the
seems more
spinoff
likely.
for him and Carol.
Yeah.
That could open up the spinoff for him and Carol. If he's like, I'm done, I'm out of here.
And I don't even think it would be as much what Maggie did, to be perfectly frank, because there's a quote in the show that Leah says, "It's hard to watch someone you care about change when they're hurting other people you care about too." Now, I saw this as like, Pope hurting his people, Leah hurting Daryl's people, Daryl hurting the Reapers, Daryl hurting Leah, because this kind of goes back to something that I said 2 episodes ago with Eliza, when Eliza and I were covering 1106. I'd said, Leah knows. Leah is a good judge of character. Leah knows when somebody's lying. She's a very good judge of people's facial emotions, what people say, but especially Daryl. She knows when she's being bullshitted by Daryl. But here's the thing. Leah's been with the Reapers for a while, and it doesn't make sense to me that the cracks haven't started to show probably since she came back with the Reapers. But until Bossy was put into the fire pit, until she herself was put into a fiery cabin with Daryl, that's when she really started opening her eyes. And then when Daryl came back, she wanted to believe in him as an escape path, maybe. Or maybe she wanted to believe that he came back for her. Or maybe she wanted to believe in him that she could have her cake and eat it too.
She may have known that he was lying to her on some level, but here's the thing. It's kind of like when you know somebody is cheating in a relationship, when you feel it in your gut, and then when they finally come out and say it, it solidifies it, and it makes the hurt even worse. And I think that's what it did for her. Is I think she knew on some level, because he chose his people over her to begin with.
Yeah, well, that's kind of exactly what I mean, though, too.
When he said, they're my people, and then it's like, not only did you lie to me, but you confirmed the fact that I knew you were lying. I was hoping you weren't, but you did.
You're caught between like really, really wanting to know the truth. Like, okay, I don't want to be bullshitted to, but at the same time, you're like, but do I? I'd rather not know. Ignorance is bliss. Like, can we live in this median spot forever where I get to have this family and I get to have that family? Can I do that? I don't know. But it's kind of like Rachel's truth. It's got to come out. Rachel's truth has got to come out. And I think that's ultimately healthy. And again, I know we're talking about Daryl waiting a little too long to tell Leah the truth again, kind of like a callback. But I mean, what is a good time to tell the truth? Really, come on, let's think about it. Especially with Maggie and Maggie's people out there with Negan and Gaby. I don't know if I'd have done any different. It would have been any different if he had spilled the beans to Leah before they were called back.
Like the first time he tried to.
He may not have had a chance to have gotten away because Oak was still alive.
Before you get into conversation, these meds I'm on are giving me a terrible headache. I'm going to drop out of the stream and join an audience. I'm feeling really bad, so I don't want to.
Oh,
love you,
get
babe.
Get some rest.
Love you guys.
Okay, I love you too.
I think if she had done it earlier, I don't think Daryl would have had a way out. I think she would have spilled.
So what do you mean by that? Had she revealed it like just after Daryl put down that woman from the family that they spared? That's when he was about to spill
he was
the beans.
trying to, but I think she would have turned him into Pope.
Oh, okay. You really think so? I thought we were all in agreement though. Like, I think the reason why she lets him go, gives him a head start, was because of that relationship. There's two halves of the reason why Leah is turning against Daryl. One, the putting down of the other Reaper immediately. This is something like we see with Morales when in season 8, when it's just kind of like, Rick is having this conversation with Morales with this morality question with Morales about, the Saviors took me in, blah, blah, blah. The thing that Gimple tried to do to kind of show the other side of the Saviors, by way of Morales. It didn't quite work, but still.
Right.
But Daryl kind of sneaks up behind him and goes, boop, you're done. But like without hesitation. Yeah, I always hated that asshole. But I think the other half of that equation, though, is Daryl, first of all, waiting and lying for so long while hanging out with the Reapers. And then what was the whole purpose to that?
He says to protect his family.
So
Yeah.
I ask again. I'm not saying you should agree with. I don't know. But I'm not saying you should think otherwise. But I'm saying, would it have been different at least if Daryl had fessed up before they went back to Meridian to face off against the Horde?
It would have been different. It would have been different.
Would the
But
outcome
how?
have been the same though? That's the question. I think it would have been tougher
Yeah.
for her at the very least, right?
Would he have been able to have convinced her to just not go back to Meridian and to just leave from that house? If he could have done that, then maybe.
You had said earlier, part of you was like, because of the outcome, I don't think that was even possible. Or like you said something, you used a word and I can't remember exactly what it was.
Biatch.
Yeah, there you go.
Even Angela Kang said there's that level of toxicity within their relationship.
Of Daryl and Leah, okay.
And that she made a good point, and I will stand by what she said.
Angela Kang?
They will never choose each other over the people that they have loved and fought beside.
Because they were like literally the same person.
Just as Leah tried to get him to choose that day in the cabin.
Yeah, yeah.
And he didn't, even though he changed his mind and went back, he didn't. She's not going to choose Daryl over the people who have been her family. And that's why she turns on him and says, hey, he did this. She did that because I think she wanted her guys to kill him. She didn't want his blood on her hands. So she betrayed him.
Leah and Daryl are like Romeo and Juliet right now.
I was thinking that like after I watched, but it's worse than that, isn't it though?
Yeah.
It's like
Yeah.
a Romeo and Juliet that
it is
hate
because
each other.
because they're adults.
Like,
It is worse.
yeah. Because the adults actually have resentment towards one another.
Yeah.
And this is what I'm thinking this whole time. Is like Leah is giving Daryl a taste of his own medicine in a sense. Like in the future, it's like, oh, you remember that time where you dipped out, and you made the wrong choice? Yeah, I'm making the wrong choice now. It kind of reminds me of what I was saying before about why the cabin looked like a wreck. She was in anger. She was tossing things around. She said, fuck this guy, Dixon. I'm out of here.
If she was going to do that, then why did she kill Pope and not let Daryl follow through with what he was getting ready to do?
I think because they're two mutually exclusive things, right?
I think Leah felt like she needed to be the one to do it. Like it was going to happen and she wasn't going to let Daryl do it. It had to be her.
Is a good mirror, like parallel to what happened in the last episode, right? She couldn't kill that woman, but she can damn well kill Pope.
But she can kill Pope.
Because it has to be me in this instance. And imagine how weird and awful it would be for Daryl to do that. I think it would make...
Is that kind of like putting down your rabid dog?
Oh, yeah. Tick, or not rabid, I guess, necessarily in Pope's case, but, you're traumatized. Well, talk about a dog, a rescue, and then comparing that to Pope and PTSD, and it's a shame. And literally, he was foreshadowing. Spooky beta shit, everybody. Spooky beta shit. Pope literally described his own death. It took a bit to strangle him. I mean, literally, he took a knife to the neck, and he was still stumbling around while bleeding out.
I think you're right. I think they are star-crossed lovers. A little bit of Romeo and Juliet with a whole lot of poison mixed in.
Yeah.
I think they do love each other, but they love their families more.
Yeah, this is like the fatal flaw that's built into Daryl Dixon, and I, by way of that, got Leah as well. The same concoction, and it's that Daryl has this thing where he cares more about everybody else, his family, than himself. Period. It makes me a little bit mad, all things considered. When you've lived a life not for yourself already prior to the apocalypse, you probably lived your life just to survive. When everybody told you you're a dumb hick, nobody, idiot. And then you move into the apocalypse where you have a family and it's great. And you have people to live for. The trajectory of Daryl has always been, I fight for my family. I do this for my family. I get captured. I stay silent for my family. I will cow to the powers that be to protect my family. But then I get to the point where like, okay, when is Daryl going to think about himself? When we were interviewing Mo Collins, one of the questions was, what does Sarah want? What does Daryl want? I think he wants his people to be safe. I'm like,
I think
Come
Daryl would
on.
have a pretty similar answer
Come
to
on.
Moe's. I do. I think his main goal right now is making sure everybody is safe and thrive. I don't think Daryl thinks much about himself. I don't think he did before the apocalypse. I don't think he does now.
I don't think he had the luxury. Period.
Yeah.
You know, whether it was because he was treated like shit or
I think that's his true heart. I think at the heart, he is a person that we would call the soul of a servant. He wants to help others
Yeah.
and ensure that everybody else is taken care of and safe. And in doing so, he finds happiness and contentment in that.
what you're describing right now is the kind of the tragic story, is because the one person that can give him full contentment, he is rejecting because of this. What was normally an asset is a fatal flaw. And what?
Well,
and what
I don't know that she's the one that could bring him contentment. I think.
I mean, he just has to say
I
the
still
word.
think that there was more.
He just had to stay. Put it that way. I mean, they bring
I
it
think
up in this episode.
Leah was his first.
Yeah, you got to give him a little bit of a break.
You just got a better, deeper vibe between him and Connie than I ever got between him and Leah.
I wouldn't even say that, but I would say like it was ezy. It was easier.
Yeah, and there's something to be said
It's less
about
intense.
easy. Yeah, there's something to be said about easy.
Yeah. Yeah, I 100%, I 1,000 billion% agree, because that's kind of what I have right now. Yeah, I'll concede to that point. But here's the thing: who's to say that Daryl with Connie, he wouldn't do the same thing? He would deny himself in order to save his family. I mean, granted, Connie's not an ex-military, with PTSD on that front. Fine, but wouldn't the outcome be the same? Connie storming off in resentment, regretting the day she ever laid eyes on that motherfucker, Daryl Dixon.
Well, yeah, if he shows up at Alexandria with Leah.
Because, I mean, I keep thinking about what other people want, what I, as maybe a survivor in that camp, would want for Daryl. Like, I would want him to be happy, and yet he denies himself for me. Fuck you, dude. Fuck you. I want you to be happy, so start living for yourself. Carol says this. Carol says this when it comes to Connie. She says, dude, come on. Life is too short.
Tell her how you feel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What do you guys think about this? Like, am I crazy? Like, because when I think of all of you, I want you to be happy, but I'm for damn sure going to try to make myself happy.
Well, I
You know
mean,
what I mean?
who are we to say that Daryl's not happy doing this?
Some people find their happiness in the happiness of others.
Right.
I mean, yeah, but
Daryl didn't have a great life growing up from what we got just in the bits and pieces. It was very abusive and things like that. And Merle wasn't the best big brother.
Right.
And I really think that Daryl, he is the tragic hero, but I do think that he gets happiness from taking care of people.
Mm-hmm.
I
yes.
think he finds happiness in Judith and in the kids and making sure they're safe and they're happy. I don't think he feels like he has to have someone. I think the experience of being with someone added another layer to him that he probably is now thinking, fuck, I never should have done that to begin with. I should have just stayed away from her cabin and quit throwing fish at her door.
Should have saved the fish.
I don't know that he thinks that, but I will break even and just say, what does someone like that know? If I'm happy just doing this, what's wrong with that? But I think again, where the response to that response is, nah, dude. There's more to life than just
There's
that.
more.
And you
Yeah.
ought to take it. And to deny yourself that is to bring on pain. I think that's really the answer. I'm not saying that that's wrong. I'm just let's make the distinction. I'm not saying this is right or wrong thing. This is about, well, first of all, if you continue to deny yourself the happiness, you are in turn, in reflection, denying somebody else that very happiness. You are denying a connectedness that is to be, that you are forcibly interrupting. And when people see, I mean, look at Leah when she detects that Daryl is off and she feels like Daryl is not quite telling the truth. She's challenging it. How do you think she feels when he's denying himself her? So of course, when you feel like somebody's not being completely honest with you, you feel like something's wrong and you feel sad. There are times where I feel like I can't tell somebody something because of whatever, whether it's a surprise party or if I feel like I can't be completely honest, I feel shitty around them. I don't feel good about myself around them. I don't feel good about them when I'm around them sometimes. It depends on how I'm feeling about it. But yeah, when you feel like you can't be completely open with somebody, it just makes you feel bad.
But you have to think too, Daryl has seen relationships throughout the apocalypse and they don't end
Right,
well.
right. We talk about this
You
too.
know, and the one person he had the very closest connection to, he thought died on that bridge.
Oh, yeah.
But and then he felt he saw Glenn and Maggie, and he felt responsible for that death. And then he saw Lori die, and then he saw the other Rick's chick,
Jesse.
Jesse.
Anderson, right? Okay.
Yeah, yeah. And he saw, Abraham die, and that was, Rosita and Sasha's love. I think he has just seen that there's just so much death. And, Michonne always said, anger makes you weak.
Anger makes you stupid.
Anger
Anger
makes you stupid.
and stupid get you killed. And I think he thinks that about love.
Love gets you killed, period. Occam's razor.
Well,
Hey, he's not wrong. He's not wrong.
Well, at least
But
the evidence points to right. Yeah. On the
Love
show,
right
at least.
now, Daryl has a broad vision of the whole group.
In the apocalypse,
And
anyway.
I think if he gets too deep in a relationship, he'll have those blinders on, and he won't see the peripheral of what's coming at him.
Yeah. In the apocalypse, anyway, love does make you stupid. We can go all the way back to season 2 when Glenn is talking to Maggie, and the first time he goes out after she tells him that she loves him, and he freezes. He freezes and isn't there to help Herschel and Rick when they're in the bar because he's thinking about Maggie, and he kind of blames her for that too. So, I mean, Daryl's not wrong if that is what he's thinking. Love does kind of make you stupid, and it puts other thoughts in your head. Like now you're thinking about this one person instead of the people as a whole.
This is kind of why I brought this up, is because I think the show is going through this idea is like, you think that love is not the answer, but what if you deny yourself love? This is the answer. This whole arc, this Leah Daryl arc, is the answer to what happens if you deny yourself love. Well, the resentment builds up.
The extreme end of it, right?
And you make an enemy, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Which is where we come in and we just say, wait, guys, hold on. This is another philosophy asshole thing. Okay. you go a little bit this way, the show's going to make you think this. And if you go a little bit that way, the show's going to make you. So there's no going around it. You have to love. This is just one of those things. When you are in love, just be in love. That's okay. You're going to lose her or him or they, but you can't. It's going to happen. But hey, you're a human being. It's going to happen. This is just like contrasting the Reapers with the Commonwealth. Kill them all, kill all the motherfuckers. God said so. And then you go to the Commonwealth. It's like, come on, be a doughy piece of shit with us. Come on. Don't you want to? Don't you like TV? Do you like toilet paper? What are you, stupid?
You have to think too. In Leah's eyes, Daryl has chosen
His family twice.
his family twice now
Right,
over
his
her.
brother, then his family. Right.
And she's like, mm-mm.
So, yeah, sort of passively the second time, actively the first time. Like, okay, and to the point where again, like we
actively the second time too.
we have to see from Leah's eyes what it would have been like or Daryl's eyes even, what it would have been like if Leah was the one throwing the knife at Maggie and taking her down. Now we would understand what Leah's going through. I think it would have been a little bit more fun had he have spared or at least given the guy a chance, the other Reaper a chance. Because I think Leah's looking at him and going, what makes you any different than me, Daryl? Kill first, ask questions later. Why did they come after me?
Nothing makes him different than Leah, except that Daryl's on our side.
But the thing that bugs me about this is that it could have been. Like he could have held back. He could have said
killing the guy.
Yeah, the one remaining Reaper on the roof.
Yeah, I was trying to pay attention the third time I watched. He doesn't really do anything. It's not like he didn't reach for a weapon. He didn't charge at that. He didn't do anything. He was just standing there like.
He did have that squirrely panic, right?
Yeah,
Yeah, he was just like, what do I do? He didn't know what to do. He wasn't reaching for a weapon. But it's just like that Morales thing. Daryl just 0 to 60. And thinking probably mistakenly. This is like where the dummy Daryl comes in. Like thinking mistakenly, oh, of course, we're in love. She's going to side with me. No, dude, you just killed her father. Or you just made her kill her father, I guess. This is why I even asked the question of what happens if the Reapers come to the Commonwealth and realize they don't have to be this way? It doesn't have to be this way. They can be somewhat doughy pieces of shit. I don't know. Part of me thinks, okay, maybe some of them would peel off. I don't know.
The only reason I say that is because they were this way before the apocalypse. They chose this life even during the real world. So they could have lived a doughy life, pre-apocalypse too, and they chose not to. So
which is funny. They made more money, but to do what, right, with that money, right? It really wasn't
Right.
about the money, right, as a merc.
I mean, this is who they are.
That's such a
This
shame.
is their nature.
That makes me so
And
sad, but it also makes me so
it's-
scared. 'Cause think about it.
They're like the adult versions of Lizzie. They're not gonna change. This is, I mean, Rachel said it right. This is who they were before. It's just them now on steroids being led by this crazy man who said they were all chosen by God.
I think that's what makes me the saddest is knowing that we're treading on a very, very sensitive subject. Instead of treating someone's PTSD with marijuana or therapy or cognitive behavioral therapy or scream therapy or whatever kind of therapy, instead going the other way. And now we're seeing the natural conclusions of that. And like, yeah, of course it can work. If you put somebody like that in a constant warframe mentality, they'll survive, they'll thrive maybe even. This is what they're used to. This is what they're trained to do. That's like programming, right? Like Lizzie, like part of me is sad about that. Like a kid, how do you kill a kid, right? I felt so much for Carol in that moment. Like, how do you kill a kid? But you gotta, or else he's gonna kill a baby.
I think if there were going to be any redemption for the Reapers, I think Leah had it in that very moment. Because she could have said, Pope is dead. He was getting ready to kill y'all down below. He didn't care who was there or not. And I stopped him to save you. She had that opportunity and she just threw it out the window. Mm-hmm. So that tells me she doesn't care what else is out there.
I think that answers really the question of why she killed Pope, by the way. He was getting ready to kill her family, just like Daryl had just killed another family member. So it really put Leah in like between a rock and a hard place. Like, no, you both are wrong. If I am
Let me do it my way.
If I am the female version of Daryl in this scenario, first of all, you killed my family member. Go fuck yourself. Because B, this other guy was going to kill the rest of my family members. So what makes any of you right? And so I feel like we need to close the book on this at this point. This is what we do, people. Okay, I'm sorry. I apologize. But you came to us. but to close the book on this, I feel like this makes Leah a far more interesting character than some sort of binary choice that she had to make between Pope and Daryl, because we don't know necessarily what's going to happen next. She lets Daryl escape, right? We all saw that. She kind of gives him a little head start. Maybe she hopes he's going to make the right decision and never come back again. I personally don't think she's going to go after Daryl. I really don't. Is she going to go after Maggie somehow? Maybe. I don't know. I feel like her raison d'etre with the Reapers, in my opinion, is to keep her family safe. But will she be willing to risk her family's safety in going after an enemy just like Pope, repeating the same history? That's the thing that I'm interested in.
Don't you think the other Reapers are going to want revenge for... I mean, she told them that Daryl killed Pope. Don't you think the rest of them are going to want to kill Daryl?
Yeah, that was a huge mistake too.
I do.
Right? I mean, you think about it,
Right.
like, had she not said that, had she have said, I killed Pope.
Anything else.
Which she
Anything.
did. No, she
Yeah.
should have. She should have said, I killed Pope.
And here's why.
Because as
Yeah.
Elisa was saying, he was getting ready to kill all of you.
Yeah.
I know he felt like he's ordained by God, but if there's nobody else to serve God, then what are we doing it for?
Right.
That's not
Should
what God
I have let him
does.
kill you?
Yeah.
No, of course not. So
Yeah.
you're welcome.
Yeah.
She had the opportunity at that point to stop everything.
But maybe this goes to what we've learned about Leah in the past, is that she, is that in the face of Daryl making the wrong decision, in the past, in Find Me, she stormed off and just, and look, I don't blame her. I really don't. This is the apocalypse, baby. You're going to die. You can't, first of all, you can't spend 6 years looking for a guy and suddenly go, well, maybe one more day. No, she's like, dude, it's been 6 years, dude. It's been 6 years. Stop, give up. Stay with me. If he happens to wash up, maybe we'll go every other month. You can look for your guy who's not here. He's not here. But, just to entertain, just to kind of wean you off of him, let you up. Stay. He made the wrong decision. I don't blame her. I honestly don't blame her. That's like the most foolish mistake in the world, especially in a dead world. There's only so much happiness out there. Just fucking stay with the lady. No, you fucked up, son. I know he ran back, and I'll give him another chance. Oh, he's our guy. All right, whatever.
Well, we'll find out how many of our people make it out of there.
Yeah.
And dog.
Yeah, well,
And dog.
That's the big question. That's the big
That's
question.
the most important person right
Is
there.
it the most important
Yes.
person?
Yes, person. Shut up. Dog is people.
Podcast over. Okay.
And David quits. David's like,
I quit.
Dog is the most
That's
important.
for you, Meg. That's for you, Meg. Dave quits.
Yep.
Wait.
Oh, we got Dave to quit. Yes. Oh shit, we really did. Oh my gosh, this is like a scary movie. I'm so sorry, you guys.
I can't get this thing to stay upright because I got melodramatic and
You got excited.
listen, I embraced my drama roots and I decided to do some play acting.
Oh, God, how funny.
I just want to say one thing. Note what she said. Dog is the most most
people.
important person. Okay, let's move on.
Yep.
Dog is
Say
people.
bubble.
That's right.
Say
Dog is
bubble.
people.
Dog is
Ask any dog, they'll tell you they're a person.
If I start hearing dogs speak, yeah, this is going to be a very interesting podcast.
Hey, our dogs, all of our dogs think they're peoples.
That's right.
That
you got it.
I will agree with that. That makes it's so entertaining to watch. They like to log. So like
Oh my God.
so like we love it when kids get locked in basements and get eaten too. We love eating babies. And then dogs are people. Good night,
Yes.
everybody. It's been a great podcast.
You heard it here
Ferals eat
first.
babies. Ferals eat babies.
I wonder if all that footage is going to make the final cut. Could be shit throwing the camera, bringing it
At
back
least
up.
you gotta keep some of it in.
It's got to get.
There
You gotta.
right?
Yeah.
It was too good.
It's never happened on the show, I don't think. And 4 years later, happy anniversary, right?
I really enjoyed watching Rosita.
Yeah, I think everybody
I was
did.
worried about her going out there, but
They bring a smile
She
to your
was-
face like it's bringing to mind.
it did. I mean, she really reminded me, and I think that's what everybody was thinking is when they saw the preview of that image in the doorway. Wow, it did remind you of Michonne.
Too, yeah, a
Oh,
little
yeah.
bit, a little bit.
But I-
I got a different image in my head.
Of Close Your Eyes from Fear the Walking Dead, Alicia.
Alicia in the
Sharon's
doorway.
mentioning it too.
Yeah, exactly.
It's just because we like.
It was
covering
well, honestly, I think it's because of the way she was holding the weapon in her hand. It looked just like Alicia's muzzle thing, down by her side.
Right, not like a sharp sword thing. Well, I get it. It's funny. I will mention. We did do a recap of that episode. Close Your Eyes on Fear the Walking Dead. It's episode 410. One of the few recaps that I actually did that I loved and I enjoyed covering. So, but yeah, I mean that badass imagery. The one thing I will note about that scene is it reminded me of two simultaneous things. One very recent thing, which is Daryl in that train car sequence where he kind of goes John Wick in Asher Part 2. And I say that because it's similar in movement and also in soundtrack. I'm listening on the headphones just a few minutes, an hour ago, and I'm thinking like, yeah, this is another one of those scenes where our characters are getting these tribute montages that the filmmakers are going, yeah, let's give him something. Let's give him going out. Like now I'm seeing like the edit, like of Daryl going through the train car and Rosita killing the walkers in my head. Like this is going to make people's, jizz crazy, like on the internet right now. I can't wait till the end of the series where like they cut all these sequences together, which everybody's undoubtedly going to have. It's going to be like an HJM edits on crack. So, and I'm going to steal that goddamn music and I'm going to put it in the background as these episodes close out. Cause I did that with Daryl's theme music from Asher Part 2.
Nice.
So you'll see that in this episode for sure. But okay, so going to that scene, what did you feel about that? What did you like about that the most? The Rosita scene.
Just the Rosita scene. It was really kind of the first time that we have seen her, but the Rosita scene, that we've seen her get back into her kick-ass mode since she's had the baby.
Mm-hmm.
She got really sick. Like Alana said, Rosita got her groove back. This is really the first time we have seen her back in that warrior mode.
Yeah.
Rosita Princess Warrior.
Personally, my favorite part was that no one argued with Rosita about going outside. She's like, on my count, guys, let me out. And they're like, okay, go ahead.
Girl, you do the thing.
I loved it when she came back in and she just looked at him and go,
Stay away from the
"Let's stay
windows.
away from the window."
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then I was waiting for her to look straight at Gracie and like have an awkward stare.
Right.
Yeah, Gracie,
Stay away from the windows.
it's all your fault.
Oh my gosh.
That's how this started. So that was the first thing I said. Okay, that reminds me of the Daryl scene in Asheron Part 2. But then it reminded me of what Aiden mentioned. Actually, I was going to say that before. Reminiscent of Rick storming outside during No Way Out as well. Is that when that's when they come back from the mid-season break and Alexandria is being overrun by walkers and the Sam Anderson gets his head bit off like an apple and okay.
Yeah.
So that's what I was thinking as well, like that, because that whole montage of them like on set, because it's clearly on set. There's a black background and they're just whacking at the camera, like as if they're whacking walkers away, and they clear them all out because they were getting overrun by the wolves and everything. That reminded me of that as well, but like with a storm in the background. How nice!
Yeah, I mean,
and it's still Alexandria. How about that?
It was very much, but it was really kind of her shining moment, a throwback to the way she was pre-Coco.
Maybe even more.
I'm sure some of that was Mama Bear instincts. I've got to protect my child and the other children in here. But it was nice to see that she still had that wherewithal and that primal nature to go out and just kick some ass in an effort to be the mama bear and to protect the kids in the house.
Honestly, I feel like it's a redemptive moment for her too, because for both Christian Serratos and Rosita Espinosa, right, in the sense that because we kept seeing her train in the beginning of season 10, and she's all gung ho, and Gabriel is doing whatever, and then you see her training. Gabe's taking care of the baby, Eugene's taking care of the baby, and what happens in the first fight scene that she has. She's squaring off against the most implacable enemy ever, right? Beta, right? And she gets her ass handed to her. She's taken out for basically the rest of the season because of it, and then proceeds to not feel well apparently. So it was nice to see that training in action and I think the fans actually had criticisms of like, okay, she went through all that training. Yeah, she went through all that training at the beginning of the season, and they practically threw that. What was that all of that for? What was all of that for?
Oh, I got you.
We never got to use it. Not really. And so, having her come back and have this scene, it's kind of like, okay, all right. Oh, okay.
Well, I mean,
the math adds up now.
This goes back to what we were saying before, too, though. Like, everyone in the apocalypse should be able to fight. What is it for? It's to save your life when you need it. That's what it's for. Like, right. Everyone needs to be training and learning.
Oh my God. You know what? We just stumbled into a parallel that I hadn't really thought of talking about. But like when Paul Wells, of the Reapers is going out there going, yeah, I could take this. Yeah, I've seen that guy take out many walkers, blah, blah, blah. Many situations before, I've seen him take 11 walkers in under a second. I don't know what the hell they said on the show. But but basically saying, oh, this guy knows this and there's no, Rosita's the real deal. Rosita is the real deal. Yeah. And she made it. And he didn't.
I'm most concerned right now for Lydia. What is that about?
Because I'm most concerned about Connie.
Yeah. Okay. So. Well, Oh, okay. Let's go back to that. But like, I like what Aiden says here. Like, I was going to talk about that as well. How how Wells actually kind of goes out like Jesus when he first meets a whisperer.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
There was a little bit of a callback to that. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Nicely done. Thank you, Aiden. I was going to not talk about that at all. Jeez.
I'm hoping that Lydia is the one who pulls the walkers from the house, because she was the last one upstairs holding the door. And she knows how to turn the horde. And I'm hoping that we're able to see that she does that as opposed to meeting her demise.
Oh, you think that's a possibility? Is that what people are saying? That's a possibility? She might meet
that she's going to die. Her end? Well, you never know. I mean, we're going to have a lot of folks die this season. It's just a matter of who's going to go first.
It's good to know what people are thinking mentally. What could happen? The assumption that everybody's the massive amount of cast members are going to die this season. It's not a misleading thought.
And I think it's just a matter of we're all kind of rolling dice on who's going to go first. Had Aaron gone to the windmill to try to put out the fire, I would have thought it was going to be him, because I could see where that could be a point in juncture of he takes Gabriel's death, where he falls over and hangs upside down.
And then gets gutted by a Reaper or something. That's many days away, actually.
Or just gets
he'd be out there a long time.
Or just gets eaten alive by walkers. He's hanging upside down in a precarious position and can't fight for himself. But he went to mend the fence.
Right.
So I'm hoping that Lydia kind of saves the day and is able to get a walker, get a mask on, and steer the walkers out of the house. Because I'm sitting there going, how long is it going to take for that basement to flood?
Just close your eyes. Remember Close Your Eyes? That was another tick in that box of Close Your Eyes, like how the basement flooded in that episode. Again, Fear the Walking Dead, 410. Well, it's a great episode.
It is.
But let's talk about Aaron for a second, because another parallel that I saw, and this is what was great about this parallel is you saw it immediately after the other scene. So in the one scene, Pope is saying how he admits, okay, he kind of knew Maggie's people were out there, and he sacrificed Paul to have that confirmed. And in the very next scene, Aaron is talking about what needs to be done. We need 3 groups, one to protect this place, one to mend the fence, and one to put out the fire at the windmill, right? Gracie's like, why does it always have to be you? Why can't you stay behind? And Aaron goes, it wouldn't be fair of me to ask someone to do something I wouldn't do myself. And now you get to immediately see the differences between Pope and Aaron, the differences in leadership. And you see that in the scene that Aaron is talking about duties as well. How many people want to pitch in instead of waiting for orders to pitch in? People saying, hey, I want to do this. And then if you had said that in the Reaper camp, you'd be like, no, God said do that. But you get to see the clear, it's like narrative for dummies, the contrasting philosophies between Alexandria, like, and almost like Campus Colony in a way. Like, okay, we kind of agree by negotiation, we kind of all want the same thing, we want to be safe, we want to be fed, we don't all want to kill our enemies immediately, you know. We don't regard everyone immediately as our enemy, but you know, we tend to be safe, we all want what's best in our interest. No, in Reaper camp it's kind of like, hey Pope, what did God say today? What? Oh, that's great. Oh, where do you want me to lick your boot? Oh, here? Of course. If that's what God wants. And Gracie kind of has a point, a little bit though. It's this weird thing where like, okay, well, listen, Captain Kirk, you don't always have to go on the away mission, you know? You're not supposed to technically, the rule book says, Captain Kirk, you're actually supposed to stay on the ship so you can run operation. I'm doing a Star Trek reference, okay? You know, if you don't mind, Captain, so, you know, according to Star Trek, in the captain's, in the rule book, you're not supposed to go on the away mission, but Captain Kirk always went on the away mission. What the fuck? I guess, yeah, who's the hero? Why you gotta be a hero, Captain Kirk? Why you gotta be a hero, Aaron? But Gracie...
Billy, don't be a hero.
But but Gracie is kind of right a little bit, too. Like, why does it always have to be you, Aaron?
Well, I think, didn't Judith ask that to Daryl when they were having the Hilltop War? And wasn't she trying to get him to stay inside?
Wasn't it when she gave him back his vest with the wing on it? They had a conversation there.
Something like that, yeah.
Well, I guess they were both trying to convince each other to stay inside. Yeah. I mean, I guess, stay in this house, Carl. It's a little callback there, right? There is a mirror reflection moment again. Gracie has it here in this episode, but Carol, I think, has the same conversation with Aaron not too many episodes prior when they're mending the fence. He has his little hammer time moment with the walker. Anyway, but like he's saying, yeah, you have one arm. What are you doing? You can't pull that straight. You're just doing it so you feel like you're doing something, Aaron, but you're really not pulling that rope. Okay, you're not doing it. Do something else. And Carol's trying to tell him, like, okay, listen, why is Virgil listening to what they have to say and Aaron not, right? Virgil's clearly hurt. He's not able to go outside and do any of these things. And he says, okay, yeah, I'm not going to be stubborn. I'll be useful where I can be useful. Aaron, no, I have one hand. I have a daughter. No, let's put myself in danger. I don't know. I'm trying to like say, no, the opposite isn't always true. Like, okay, I'm with Aaron's heart all the way, as evidenced by the Mary debate that we had about baby Adam and Alden and that whole situation. I'm invested with Alden, but like, I kind of want him to be safe.
Isn't he the only man there? Well, wait, where's Jerry?
Virgil's there.
What does that mean?
But Virgil's wounded, so Virgil doesn't count. I mean, he is wounded, so where's Jerry and the other folks that were there?
Maybe they're in another house,
I guess.
In another house.
But then why is Nabila there, right?
Well, Nabila's there.
Yeah, right.
Maybe Jerry is with the babies. He's just in another room. He was with the screaming children. And that's why the women had to go check on the babies.
Isn't that what Barbara's
I'm gonna go get the babies.
Barbara's like the town appointed babysitter.
Barbara was out in the living room with everybody else.
Right.
Well, the babies are screaming. No wonder the walkers were being drawn in.
I feel
it wasn't Gracie's fault. It was Coco's fault.
Wait, let's think for a second though. Couldn't Jerry be somewhere else? Or because who else is maybe not accounted for in this scenario?
There were several other guys that were there.
Oh yeah, Scott. Where's Scott?
Yeah. Well, I mean, I remember, when the walkers breached the wall and Jerry was standing at the toilet peeing, and he comes running through the house. Guys, get up, So there were several other
Was
guys.
Jerry eating off screen? No, I'm kidding. Sorry. No,
Yeah.
God forbid.
Maybe they were, held up in another house or something.
Maybe.
But
I mean, I hope we see those people in some sort of other scene. And maybe this goes to what somebody was saying. I think it was Alania. Or who said this? I thought it was maybe one of you, but like saying how Angela Kang couldn't do everything that she wanted to do because of COVID restrictions. So maybe they had to limit.
It was either Aiden or Alania.
Yeah, one of you two had said it in the chat. Yeah, okay, Aiden. Aiden had said that.
Aiden did, okay.
So it could well be that, okay, they ran out of people they could stuff into this interior scene, and Jerry was the odd man out. Maybe Jerry was, again, maybe you're right, Jerry is probably already upstairs with one of the babies, or the other children. I mean, Jerry has his own children, so they might all be up there. Yeah, there's a whole lot of children. No judgments. It's just a lot of babies.
That's okay. They're building a future. The future needs kids. Well, the future needs people, and people start as kids. So
okay. And speaking of you'll have a little chuckle about this, but I have an ongoing gripe with Anthony Azor, who plays R.J. Grimes.
I was going to bring this up if you didn't.
So my classic reaction to Anthony Azor's acting is, first of all, this kind of hesitant, like, it's not that good. But then, like, I don't want to criticize children and actors. And, like, again, I don't know, the world is full of child actors. Maybe you could have picked a better one. But anyway, so you guys know me. I don't like kids being killed on shows. I don't like, I don't feel good about it. And so I have feelings towards children. So I do feel bad when I say this, but I have to say it because I see it and I have to say it. But I just have to also express that I don't feel easy about it, right? Well, I did like him this episode. I think he did a great job. I did feel something when he delivered that line. So you'll be happy to know that I have a soul.
I even said it in my reaction. I said,
dogs still aren't people.
Way to deliver that
Anthony
line.
Azor that was a really, really well done.
Good job.
I felt like and I will say,
beautiful inflection. He did great.
To sort of do a backhanded compliment, if we're going to do this, I feel like that take took many, because I feel like maybe they went back and forth a couple times, and they were like, okay, Anthony, I'm going to sit down. Okay, Anthony, I want you to do this. They want you to do exactly what I'm doing, so you don't have to think about it too much, okay?
Yeah. Well, we know they watch our show. So.
Make your face really... No, if they do, I'm sorry. I really, really am. I don't mean to criticize you. I know you will get it right at some point. But
and he
maybe
did.
This
he
was
did
it.
Great.
Yeah, there you go.
He did great.
But I feel like what they did was like, okay, now pretend your face is completely slack, okay? I miss my mommy. That's good, right? Just don't make your mouth just not move. Be a ventriloquist. I miss her. Perfect. Done. Yeah. Congratulations. We're learning storycraft, everybody. No, I know I'm just making a production of this, but I really did. I did feel it. I liked it. The perfect amount. The eyes were at the right spot, looking at the right thing, off in the distance, going, I miss her. And then, I did feel it. And they were talking about Virgil, and Judith were talking about Michonne as well. That was kind of nice. I liked that as well.
That was a great pull-out moment.
Yeah.
In the chaos of everything going around them. It was a nice calming moment for Judith.
The calm before.
She's a tough little kid. She hasn't until the last, until this season, really dealt or processed any loss that she's experienced. And I think it's just kind of come overwhelmingly on her. And the moments with her and Rosita, and then the fact that the last person who was with her mom is sitting there saying, I see her in you. I think she needs that. I mean, gosh, Kaylee's an amazing little actress. It's been really good to see her evolution over the course of the seasons. But yeah, in the calm moment of the storm, it was really good for that dialogue between Virgil and her.
Yeah.
Because I think she was feeling, from the episode with the boys at the fence picking on her and bullying her, I think she was starting to feel fragile, and now I can't go help. They don't need me. And I think, he was telling her, you're as strong as your mom, and I see that in you.
And I wonder when Kaylee or Judith is going to have more of an active fighting role, let's say. But kind of like in the way that Carl sort of started having around these reflections that we're having of old Alexandria, where around the time of 608 to 609, like where Carl started stepping into this role of like actually fighting and stuff like that. So maybe Kaylee will show up maybe a little bit more in these scenes. But.
So Aiden thinks that Gabe is going to be the first death. So who are y'all's bets on?
It's funny that you mentioned Gabe, because I had read an article about that whole interaction with Reaper Preacher and why it was A, spooky, but B, well, they didn't mention that the prayers were the same, not like we did. The prayers that they said were the same exact ones. So we're awesome and they're not. No, but but this actually came from a Screen Rant article, and Screen Rant is very well known for panning The Walking Dead, or at least the writers. Most of the writers have been well known to pan the series, right? Especially like in the latter seasons. But it was really great to read this one because not only did they actually in praise of Father Gabriel, but like typically a character that people like to poop on, and then typically an outlet that likes to poop on The Walking Dead not only does not do that, but they praise Father Gabriel. So it's like this weird reversal, the yin yang. And so to read why he spares him, according to the article, and I'll link it in the blog when we release it, they basically say that he spares him because he sees that if this guy can have faith, and I'm so willing to let go of my faith, seeing what's out here, then why can't I hold on to my faith? That's the crux of the article. It's like, if this guy can still hold on to his faith, in this dead world, and he is who he is, basically a bunch of crazy psycho-killing assholes, well, why can't I hold on to my faith? Especially when I'm fighting to feed my family and protect my people. I'm fighting like a righteous cause, like something that Gabe has said in prayer over the course of many seasons. My house is a tower, like that weird modification of that passage. God's house is a tower. I think that's what it was. This is episode 1016. I think it was. Yeah. And then 1017, or 1018 or whatever it is with one more. Yeah, I don't believe in God anymore. What happened? What happened, Gabe? What my God's house is a tower. What happened, bro? I don't know. Anyway,
I think that whole scene was meant to make us question that too. Like, was he looking at Gabe? Wasn't? But ultimately, I don't think he saw him or knew he was there.
Me too.
Because
because of what you said. Yeah, in the last episode.
What did I say?
You said the reason why they called Leah and Daryl back was because Reaper Preacher told him that Gabe was we spotted a scout and Maggie's people are coming.
Oh, that was Sharon. Sharon had pointed that out. Yeah.
But I don't think that's the case. These two religious characters have the opportunity to become more than what these other people are doing. They have the potential to be more than just our counterparts, more than just killing. And who is he mourning after too? Like, is he mourning after his own people, or is he praying for the Meridians who lost their lives, Maggie's people? That's another thing I was thinking about when he was near the graves. He's saying this prayer about the people who got to escape a calamity. These righteous people will be taken away before the calamity arrives.
And I wonder if the graves that he was standing by were Maggie's people, because
yes, exactly. Oh, that's what I meant by Meridians. Yeah. Sorry.
Yeah. Because as far as we know, only one. Well, Turner and Bossy are the only two Reapers that we know of, anyway, who had died, and there were a lot more than just two markers out there.
Mm-hmm. And you know what else? You know what else? Okay. What was the thing that the other Reaper had asked Father Gabriel to do for his enemy?
Pray for him.
And what is Reaper Preacher doing?
Praying for his enemies.
Yeah. We just solved. We went deeper, people. We made deep.
Woo! Here you go. Eat it up.
But you know what? That made me suddenly so sad, both for Father Gabriel and like for just the concept of like, if this guy can pray for my enemies, why couldn't I? Going back to one more, even if when he was telling the tale about the preacher, this charismatic preacher at the funeral, and he was saying, I don't know if I believe. It didn't matter if that man believed in that moment. He did it because he wanted to comfort these people, and he knew that he had the juice. He had the Jesus juice. But I mean, he's saying it doesn't matter if you believe. Doing this work says something about you. What you are willing to impart on the world is what you want the world to reflect back into the world, essentially. So, and this has been my philosophy for the longest time. I don't believe in karma for shit. I really don't.
I do. 100%.
But wait, there's always a but with me. Just wait for that part.
Yeah, you and your big butts.
Yeah, my big butt cannot lie. And I'll tell you what my big butt says. My big butt says I don't believe in karma because I don't believe that you ought to receive good things if you put good out in the world. I do, though, believe that good things are like ripples. And ripples in ponds, and there are reeds, and then there are lily pads, and there are frogs, and that, with enough ripples in the world, you can change things. And I do believe when you see a smile from others, you tend to want to smile. Also, when you see somebody yawn, you tend to want to yawn, right? So I do think what you put out in the world if enough people see that smile and enough people, do the things, that other people might pick that cool thing up and do the things too. Now that doesn't mean people won't do shit. See, I'm not falling. See, it has to be a real one. But if other people do the shit,
I've been yawning.
but if they do good, other people might do good. But if you don't do good, well, it lessens the chances, right? And when Gabe sees Reaper Preacher doing unto others, his enemies, Pope's enemies, when he gives them that comfort or that prayer for the afterlife, I hope these people were righteous and that they escaped the calamity. It gets Gabe to think, like, oh, what was I? What am I doing? What did I become?
But that does set him up to be the first one to die. Because
kind of what they're saying in the chat. Some of them, or actually, they were saying Negan. Actually, I saw that.
Yeah, but Aiden said Gabe, and it does set him up because now he's had this enlightenment. He's going to go back to that faith, and I think that sets him up to be the first one to go. I don't think Negan's going to die as soon as everybody's expecting, because he has still been going back and forth filming down there.
Maybe he's directing. You don't know.
We have seen Seth everywhere. Seth and Aaron are everywhere, and they're everywhere without mask, and they're hugging. And that gives me pause for thought, because the studios are so strict on them that just makes me concerned of where they're at right now.
Oh, I see what you're saying. So, okay, fair enough. Listen, but we always have to give the disclaimer that none of that means anything. In fact,
That's true.
Just so you all know, they are currently filming principal photography for episode 16. They're closing out the second
trimester.
I like what Sharon Day's saying in the chat. Rosita was having a dream that Abe died, but what if it's Gabe, not Abe?
You got the wrong Abe. Right, exactly.
Maybe it's because of his faith that he's not going to be as quick to kill, but he was up there awful trigger happy with that sniper rifle.
Well, that's kind of what I'm saying too. Like, what's to become of eager trigger face? Well, first of all, the smile on his face when he found it was great.
I know, right?
Oh my god! Because I love what this character's become a little bit. I'll admit, when people go Clear Morgan, like, oh, I want to see Clear Morgan again, I go, what are you? Sadistic? What is wrong with you? Like, you want to see a man suffer? Okay. But then I'm like, okay, Gabe hasn't been through that, so I'll be like, okay, when I see Gabe break a little bit of bad, I'm like, all right, I can go for a little bit more of that. Okay, until it becomes a problem, mentally speaking. And it is sort of becoming a problem. Like, I don't know. It's one thing to kind of protect your people and be eager about it. And, by God, God's house is a tower, all that, whatever. It's great. But until it starts becoming a problem, like, oh, am I doing the right things? Am I not giving people a chance? I mentioned this at the beginning of this episode, how I like how we got to focus basically on one and a half of the events. Like, mainly we stuck with the Reapers subplot. And then we went sort of back to Alexandria, keeping it very slim, no Commonwealth whatsoever, which kind of like leaves the field open for when we return. We'll probably hit the Commonwealth first, because that'll piss everybody off, kind of leaving us on a pseudo cliffhanger about the Watcha. What is that going to do? And is it going to turn our group into
Maggie
Swiss
take one
cheese?
to the dome? We don't know.
Everybody has the opportunity to get hurt in this one. But
Yep.
Of course, they're not going to go back to... Well, I say that. They may do that. You never know. But I feel like they're going to go back to the Commonwealth meeting, because they left us off there in the last episode to quite the cliffhanger. Like, okay, what's going to happen with Eugene? He goes, but wait, Taterberg says wait. And then, he's going to give away... this could be the moment where the Commonwealth comes and rescues the gang. So maybe it's not Lydia that turns the horde, but maybe Mercer and his gang comes up and cleans house and says, hey, we saved you, now pay us, or be slaves in our Commonwealth, or something. Like, what that guy says. Yeah, Lance Hornsby.
Be slaves.
Be slaves. Be slaves, Alexandrian.
Oh my gosh. Go scoop ice cream. Go deliver the mail.
Or go outside of Lawton and pick up feces and stuff.
Yeah, go burn our shit.
Look at what Sharon Day say. Sharon Day sings, damn it, Maggie better not die. I'm like, okay.
What?
That's it.
That must be a typo. That must be a typo.
Damn it, Maggie better not die. What the
I think she meant Maggie better die sooner.
No,
that's what she
said clearly. She's had no typos this time whatsoever. You would know from the typos.
Yeah, no, that's because it's because she wants the hate bang to happen.
This is not yet. It had the hate bang. Yeah, exactly. There you go. The hate bangs have to happen. Okay.
Yep. She just wants to see me go absolutely. And it's not gonna be pretty.
Well, then
if this happens,
So let me give you a couple things. So
I can't.
Did you enjoy? Did you enjoy it when Maggie was emerging from the Meridian Wall under garbage, like Oscar the Grouch? Maggie comes out first, but Maggie and Gabriel
Yeah.
come out from the shit pile that's in Meridian.
Yeah.
So,
Oscar the
like
Grouch.
Oscar the Grouch. It's like
Oh.
Sesame Street.
Yeah.
Hey, whoa, wise guys, you taking over my town? Oh, I'm grouchy. So
No,
How funny.
I thought no, when I saw that I was like at first I was a little confused. I'm like, oh, of course she knows where they are. This is her fucking place. Like,
exactly,
Yeah, she
yeah.
knows exactly where they are. Daryl's like, go over there. I'm like, yeah, she knows.
this is like just like Alpha. This is where I like having sex. It's latrine. and Gabriel's like, really? It's like, look me up. No, I'm just kidding. I'm into women leaders apparently. So yeah, Rosita, Jadis. I mean, Anne.
Who's not?
Yeah, I get it. Sharon is like, quote, I like it dirty. You guys had brought this up earlier, and we kind of have to talk about this a little bit, but mostly in jest about Connie going off with Carol. Okay. However, wasn't it kind of sweet? Taking out a little bit moment, another port in the storm where Connie says, hey, can I go with Carol? I'd like to go with Carol. She doesn't offer. She says, I'm going with Carol.
I'm going with Carol, yeah.
And Carol having her little moment going, like, it's almost like that instant, like, she's touched by it. Like, you felt that, right? You felt that she, like, that spirit of relief glossing over
Yes,
her eyes in the form of
When
tears.
Connie's like, I'm going with Carol. Either that or she's going to push Carol off the windmill. I don't know.
Okay, well, let's talk about that.
She can try.
I don't
I
think
did
so.
though. I heard what you're talking about though,
That
Dave.
feeling of kinda like-
when Connie said said I'm gonna go with Carol, and Carol said thank you. Like she
Yeah.
was like, oh, I
But
definitely
you could
heard
feel
it
it in
voice.
her eyes. Her eyes kind of did the kind of like, like welling up with tears. It's kind of cool.
Yeah, and it was.
I hope
and
it keeps going too, because I wonder if more is going to come out of this, or if this is all they make of it. It's like, okay, this silent acknowledgement that no, Carol, it's not your fault.
And what's funny
It's not your
is,
fault.
Connie and Kelly have basically forgiven Carol for what happened. Magna seems to be the only one that's still kind of
Yeah.
bitchy about it,
Yeah.
and holding on.
Well,
And I don't blame her
here's the
either.
thing. Here's the thing. I think Magna's more upset with herself and projecting onto Carol.
Yeah, that's what I said. Yeah.
Kind of that survivor's guilt kind of thing I got out.
Absolutely.
And I didn't have
That
Connie with
neurosis
me.
of like, it's not, it can't be my fault. It can't be my fault, because if it is, then I have to hate myself. And
Yeah, and
Well,
it-
she
it
does.
was-
Yeah, I think she does.
but I think she's trying to avoid that by putting it onto somebody else. She's like,
Well,
first
yeah,
of all,
she
you
doesn't
took my
want any,
sister.
she doesn't want anyone else to blame her for what happened. She blames herself. She doesn't want anyone else to blame her, so she's putting it all on Carol.
Yeah.
or
You-
like a
you
little
made
bit at
it-
least,
you
like
made it happen.
enough.
Enough,
You made it happen.
yeah.
Yeah, because you don't see her being like nasty to Carol. She's like,
No.
If you could, Carol, please, could you not take Kelly? Could you
Yeah.
not? Yeah, exactly. No, she's nice about it, but she's like, she knows where she's at. She's clear on how she stands, but she's not. It's not all her fault. And maybe she's a little bit upset for like almost getting killed under a mountain of walkers. Maybe Magna is upset for herself on top of
Yeah.
being upset about Connie. Sure. But,
Yeah.
you
But
know.
I think, but Connie's just kind of like, I'm ready to go. I survived the ferals. I can handle this.
I can handle Carol. I survived the furrows. I can handle Carol.
I can handle this. That's right. These folks are dead. The other ones were crazy as
Yeah.
alive.
Yeah.
And trying to eat me.
Yeah, I would be okay if they kind of silently glossed over at this point. I'd be okay. I'd like it if they went into it a little bit more, because this might not be over yet. This whole Carol chapter of how she could have gotten Connie killed and Magna killed and maybe even Kelly for looking for them killed. I don't know.
Do you think having that moment between Connie and Carol will kind of tie it in a
That's what I'm saying.
kind of tie a bow on it and
I'm not
end
sure.
end the whole thing?
I'm not sure. I only say this. Okay, I'm glad you pushed me on this, because I'm not sure, because in light of the fact this is the final season, maybe we want to start moving on and putting other narratives up front rather than this. And it would be nice to see. Look, it's nice to kind of have a continuation. Like, I like seeing these little threads play out throughout. I love that about some series, where that little tiny thread that you just kind of have to keep your eye on while these big things are going on around it. I'm okay with that, but then I can easily see, okay, let's make a little bit more room for all this story we want to cram in for season. I'm fine with that. I'm fine with that.
Not to mention it's the last one, so we want to
Right.
use every single minute exactly how we want to see it. You know what I mean? Like you can't waste a minute in the last season.
As the poet said, ain't nobody got time for that.
That's right. Ain't nobody got time for that.
Right.
And now we're playing a clip.
And I think Aiden says, I think Magna forgives her. She gives her that hug in 1103. She just doesn't want Kelly getting her hopes up because it looks more and more unlikely. Right. But here we are, which is great. It's great. And maybe we can close that book. It might get used again. It might bring up again. We did see flashes of PTSD in Connie's eyes, when it came to the Farrells.
Oh, yeah.
So that part might not be over. Carol may still feel a little bit responsible for that. Who knows? It may even affect her relationship with Daryl somewhere along the way. Who knows?
Does Connie not know what happened to the last person that ventured out with Carol?
That's the joke, isn't it?
Yeah.
But think people can change, right? Maggie?
But it wasn't even Carol's fault. It's just like being with Carol is bad luck.
You risk your life.
Yeah, because Carol has plot armor and nobody else does, so
Right.
don't stand next to her outside.
Don't stand too close to me. Well, I had to play the whole verse. Sorry. One of the things we said in this episode, and we've been doing for the last couple episodes, is that information that pops up here makes us think about prior episodes. And one thing I kind of need to revisit just before we go, I think we're about to, Elijah. Okay, first of all, I feel bad for him. He's not having a good day.
No, he's not.
But I wonder now. There's two things I wonder now. One, was he a Reaper? I'm thinking not. I'm feeling
thinking
not. Right? After all of this.
Agreed.
However, there's that one little tooth that needs to be pulled. And it's something that he says in the last episode, which is, and him, save that guy for me. Or the one. Save that one. Save that one.
He's mine. Yeah.
Does he say he's mine?
But how do we know?
Right? Okay.
But how do we know? It could be Leah.
That's what I was thinking also, maybe. I didn't know if he said he's
Because
mine.
you got to see the mask.
Because he says the one. The one is mine. So I don't know.
I thought he said the one, he's mine.
Okay.
Yeah.
I could obviously I could be wrong.
Fact check.
That's how I remember it.
So Sharon says,
He says it should be Carver.
yeah. Sharon says could be Carver.
But
Okay.
if
He said
but
he.
if he
Abe has
only,
saying he said
but
he.
if he only, but if he only saw them wearing the mask, when
How
they
does he
attacked,
know? Oh,
Okay.
good point.
So that confirms two
then-
things possibly.
Then he's gonna need to see the mask on them to be able to identify and
Did we see Pope in a mask?
No.
No.
Never.
So what if Pope's the only one that doesn't have a mask? Maybe Pope is the only face Elijah has seen.
Well, maybe it's just the mask. Maybe he just needs to see them wearing the mask, and if he sees them wearing the mask, he will be able to identify who that one
Who
was.
that he
The
is.
specific mask.
And-
Okay, maybe
Right.
he's looking for a specific mask. I see. Yeah.
Right.
And as
That's what I'm
stories
thinking.
go, I mean, they're not going to kill the one that he's referring
Yeah.
to, obviously, right? I mean, and if so, what's the point of even bringing it up? And then I thought of maybe it doesn't matter because could not Elijah's story represent a mini version of All Out War? They kill us, we kill them, revenge on top of revenge. And then could Elijah be the means by which it gets Maggie herself, after not wanting to stop with Negan, to stop with Leah and the Reapers, which is a very interesting close on a long open book that never finished. Meaning, Maggie at the end of season 8, for some people who missed it, I don't know why you wouldn't, when Rick decided, hey, let's jail him, let's not kill him, Maggie went apeshit. And it suddenly shook us all because like she'd been holding it together for so long. She hadn't alluded to the fact that, yeah, we're going to kill him, right? Yeah, we're going to kill him, right? No, we're going to kill him, right? Oh, boy, we're going to kill him. Rick, his plan was always to kill him himself, obviously.
Yeah.
Which is what he promised to do. And then he decided not to. Maggie flips out, and he's left in jail. And then they have the little plot at the end of season 8, going into season 4 of Fear the Walking Dead. And then nothing happens from that. She leaves the show, etc. In season 9, somehow, whatever. So she's still kind of stuck there in the fact that, okay, this guy should have gotten it. And now you're seeing Elijah at the same time having the same quandary of like, okay, he's got to die. He killed my sister. They killed my sister. What is Maggie going to be the means by which Elijah stops his vengeance quest in order to save himself, let's say? Elijah's body represents season 8. He's not having a good day. And season 7, right? He's not having a good day. His sister died. He's having PTSD. He's been looking for her for a very, for however long it was that they got separated. Finds out he's a walker. Has shrapnel in his leg. This is season 8, just in spades. And so the thing that gets the guys to that gets the war to stop is not killing Negan, because that would not have stopped. People would have still been fighting people. Death would have been, blood would be soaked in the ground. It would be chaos. But instead, they broke even. People didn't survive after that. That's fine. But at least they didn't survive because people are killing each other. People were relatively armistice free and they were trying to be communities and stuff like that. But okay, Elijah. Now, if we keep going, Elijah might die. Elijah represents the future, let's say. He's still a kid. He's pretty young.
Well, the only way I can see that happening is if we kill the Reapers and put Leah in prison. Elijah may convince Maggie, we got to stop. We've got to stop this. But I don't think that's going to convince the Reapers to stop. So there's going to have to be
a conflict or something. Like it
some
has
kind
to
of
come
a
to some
all-out
sort of
war
head.
again.
Yeah.
I don't think it's going to be a matter of just saying, let's just go home. They are now set on a path of revenge against Daryl for Pope. But I could see him being the one, like maybe on his deathbed, saying this has got to stop somehow.
Elijah being the one to say to stop. I hope that's the case. I just don't feel like that's going to happen. Unless he sees something Maggie doesn't. Which could be, considering Maggie may still be switched off. If you are emotionally switched off, okay, hold on, I got something for you. This actually brings the conversation that Judith has with Gracie into the fore about fear. And I've been thinking about this, like, why is this conversation here? It's cute, it's nice, it's whatever. And of course, is highly refuted, like moments later when the walker reaches in and Gracie loses her shit after trying to train in front of the window. It's like, you think that fear would, okay, listen, I would love to make fun of that, but that's accurate, okay? I can see that. I don't like the idea that fear magic, she magically is able to control her fear. It's like, no, okay, this seems more realistic, okay? Some people are just who they are, and eventually over time, maybe they become better or more capable. But for now, no, let's be real here. Okay, fine. But the whole conversation about fear is very interesting to me because that tells me a little bit of about what you guys are talking about. The Reapers are all about not acknowledging their fear and going into these things with God on their side, right? Capable fighters, placebo effect, go. Our gang knows the cost. They're hungry. They need to use their resources wisely. Okay, they can't go all in. Carver says, yo, if you want your balls, sure. Dude, Dixon, go ahead. Lead the horde away. Woo. Yeah, I sing castrati, soprano, okay? I like my balls. I like my baritone. So there's a little competing philosophy here. I kind of like where we're going with this. And then linking it back to Elijah, maybe he will see that, okay, maybe we've had enough. And Maggie, if you keep going down this path of you not having this fear or emotion or whatever, it's not going to end well for you. What are you fighting for? Now, taking this back to World Beyond, what are you fighting for, Maggie? What are you fighting for?
If she loses Elijah, she will have, in essence, lost every one from Meridian.
Yeah.
Except Herschel.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. But essentially everyone else, like Herschel's like in her pouch. Is she a little kangaroo? Yeah. She's in the pouch. She's a Joey. There's Joey's in her pouch. His little, I don't know what it's called.
And then the other person that she has a very close connection to is still stuck in a church, bleeding out.
Oh God, we forgot about Alden. Thank you, Elisa. Holy shit!
You forgot about Alden?
We dropped that thread episodes ago. We never went back to it. What happened?
Yeah. So
he's still in the church. We're waiting to find out what happens.
There's several episodes ago. Oh my God.
I'm not. You know what? I'm not even worried about Alden. Honestly, I'm not.
You've given up on the fact that he might die?
I don't think he's going to. I think they're pulling a Glenn on us right now. This is another early season callback. We think he's gonna die, but he's not. Aiden just pointed out like 15 callbacks since the season started from all the past seasons. That's what, and we're going to see a lot more of it too. They are going to I think they're going to bring back every callback they possibly can this season.
We saw they pulled a Glenn with Maggie in Echelon 1, and we
literally crawled under the train. Yeah.
I mean, that was as much a Glenn callback as anything.
Yeah. Now with Alden, they're dragging it out for 4 weeks, just like they did with Glenn.
But just like with Glenn ended in a death. So
not then, not in season 6.
Not then, but like this is the last season, people.
Right.
Yikes.
Yeah. No, I think Alden will be fine. Alden is not going to die from his current wound. I will say that much. I'm not saying he'll survive to the end of the season, but
that sucks.
He's fine right now.
He heals up just to die later. So
I'm not saying he's gonna die later either. I'm just my theory is right now he's fine.
So Aiden, who is one letter away from Alden, says, "I think Aiden will die because I can't see him surviving the show." I said they kind of called back to 616 with the death of cliffhanger there. The arrows firing at Maggie and Negan. I guess so. Follow me on this one. Did you feel a sense of foreboding when those bottle rockets went off?
No, I didn't.
I didn't either. Why?
No, I mean,
Why?
I really didn't, because I think our people are going to be like, get against the wall.
Who's down there right now? It's just Maggie and Negan down there.
Maggie, Negan, and Elijah.
Elijah's going to be. He's hurt. He's tucked away somewhere. He's not fighting.
Daryl is down there.
Daryl's
'cause
down
he
there,
came
yep.
in killing Walker.
So are her people. Aren't her people?
Yeah.
Oh, no, they retreated. They retreated.
Yep. Oh, yes, you're right. Daryl's down there. Daryl should know where this thing is pointing. He was just standing next to it a second ago, so he should know well enough to stay out of the way.
I mean, my assumption is that he's going to try to get everybody out of there. And if he was smart, live to fight another day. Mm-hmm. Hopefully get the food while they're at it.
Ooh, maybe Gabe will see them on the top, and maybe Gabe will snipe Leah.
Oh, Lord. Wow. Taking out Leah the first show. Oh, boy.
That'd be kind of.
I don't know. Here's the thing. I don't want to focus on what happens more than why we didn't think the bottle rockets going off would kill our people. Did it just not look threatening enough? Right? There's a feeling.
It kind of looked funny to me.
Right. Okay.
To be honest, like, yeah.
The framing of it.
Well, they're arrows.
They're not just bottle rockets.
They're rocket-propelled arrows. Right. The velocity at which they're going will go right through you.
Yeah,
they're effectively bullets.
What Aiden is saying, we just know they won't die that way. Like, that's just too funny of a death. Like, that can't even be a real. You can't die that way.
although.
I mean, you can. But these people can't die that way.
Yeah.
Yeah. Even Daryl says, "Don't let my people die like that."
Mm-hmm.
Oh boy, but then, him killing one of her people straight away without even giving him a chance could be a thing.
Dude,
could be Elijah.
run.
Could be Maggie. Look, we're not saying that Maggie doesn't get punched out in the next episode. I don't know. I'm just following the feeling. I'm following the feeling of that cliffhanger.
If Negan dies this soon, he does it pushing Maggie out of the way of something.
Okay, interesting.
Let's just say he gets mortally wounded.
I don't know if I believe what Alden's saying, but he's saying they wouldn't have cut to black if they had died.
It's Aiden, not Alden.
Same difference. You're all Walker chum.
I was just reading that too, and then I thought, 616. Remember 616? Yeah, they cut to black then too.
Mm-hmm. Right. Well, only after the hit happened too. Well, that's the difference. No, maybe Aiden's onto something. The difference is there wasn't a piercing.
Oh, well, we knew somebody
got hurt.
That's true. That's true. We knew somebody was eating it. Okay.
Do I have an accent? Do you have a fake accent? Yeah, see, I'm Alden. See, okay, whatever.
That's Alden. That's your Alden.
That's why, because Alden's accent is ridiculous enough. It's like, right?
It's because he's Irish, trying to be Southern.
He's South African.
Yeah.
Is he? He's South African who sounds Scottish, who sounds from he's from Boston, but
something
really
else.
not from Boston. Maggie,
he's got that.
Hey, she, hey. I don't know, whatever.
He's got that Richie Coster accent where you just make up whatever the hell you feel like. You just.
Oh, he's Australian. He's
words.
Australian. My bad. He's Australian, and yet he sounds
We're
like
all wrong.
he's from Scotland.
He's everything.
Well, okay, so he was born in
It's my brother's name.
Yeah, he's born in Sydney.
He has 2 Irish grandparents, and he attended
there you
Scots
go.
College.
Scots College. Yeah. Okay. So he's all over the map.
We're all right, and we're all wrong.
We're all wrong. Sounds.
He's a little Irish, and he's a little Australian.
Which is apropos of nothing for Squawking Dead. We're all right and we're all wrong.
That's perfect. That sums it up right there.
Pope mentions the Black Horse famine in his little speech to Leah,
yes.
right? Did you look this up?
Yes.
He's referring to the third horse of the apocalypse, the famine horse.
I didn't look it up.
Horse.
That was what I had assumed he was referring to. And then I went, yeah, we were just talking about the 4 horsewomen of the apocalypse too.
Exactly.
See, they do listen to us, or we're just that good. Or we're just that good.
They're kind of like Facebook. You talk about it, and it shows up on your feed the next
Yeah, but
day.
they filmed it like months ago though. So they have time travel. What's pretty cool about the third horse that I keep calling it a horse. The third horse is very pretty. No, the third horseman is in charge of so he's obviously in charge of who gets what and counting how much they have and inflating the price. But part of that involves scales, the scales of justice. He is handed the scales of justice by which to judge how much one gets over the other, what price is set for whom because of the famine. So when he's saying this, he's saying that we are on the side of the righteous, or he's saying it comes for us all. But if it comes for us all, we must be righteous. I like his his devotion. But the other thing I liked about Pope is that they kind of clarified in this episode is that with as much as he's spiraling and still clinging on to the old ways, because again, Pope is a product of a previous era. He's a product of contemporary warfare, a person who's stuck in conflict. What's clear is that he doesn't know how to fight this war where you can weaponize whisperers. He doesn't know how to fight a war where it's not about property, it's not about oil, or it's not about trying to propel colonizers. Literally, it's about famine. He's saying the thing, but he's not reacting to the thing. He says it comes for us all. So then why aren't we all coming for it? No, it must be us. We must be the ones that are. It's they who are rejected by God. He's getting the message wrong. He knows the message, but he's interpreting it wrong. It's like he's still stuck in the old ways. Like, again, this is like the product of like TWD is the opportunity, man, to be your idealized self. No, but we have to cling to the old ways. But what happens to people who cling to the old ways, to what was before? The Commonwealth. What's happening there? I mean, they're lucky.
Do they get possessed by demons and then have to go to...
Callback to Bridget Calicanal's role on the Old Ways movie on Netflix.
Credit to Aiden.
Yeah. The brouhaha happens, exactly. But yeah, on this show, when people get stuck on the past or romanticize the past or act the way they used to in the past, they get murked because they don't know how to be this self that they were meant to be, or they reject it, and Pope rejects it.
Well, even Angela Kang even made that point about the Commonwealth.
Ah, damn it. She's chicken jibs.
Because she said, they have created this world as it was, but how much of the old world do we really want to hold?
Right. They tried to build back a world that was not meant to be.
Was it that good?
Right.
Yeah.
Resurrected, let's say. Yeah. Well, and then that goes to Pope as well, because Pope is resurrecting or resembling the world in which there was conflict. They were sent across countries to quell down riots and put down armistices or create chaos, right? To create things by which they could unseat the enemy. But where is the enemy? Why is Maggie? Again, we go back to the initial question. Why is Maggie marked? And so I want to answer that question because I almost feel as though it doesn't matter. I mean, it does matter, but it doesn't matter because I think Pope's raison d'etre is that I have to have an enemy. Otherwise, what's going to happen? If I have a moment of calm, what's going to happen? We don't need to know why Pope marked Maggie. I mean, it's there. You just...
I want to know. I still want to know.
We got to know.
I want to know.
We want to know.
I don't think we're gonna. That's the thing. I don't think we're gonna know. Not in any meaningful way that isn't already kind of apparent. I think
this, whatever it was, sparked this entire... That is what caused all of this. I would like to know. I want to know why we're doing all of this.
I mean, we knew why Negan went after them. We knew why Alpha went after them. Mm-hmm. I want to know.
And the governor. We even knew why the governor went after him.
Yeah. Angela Kang, if you're watching this, damn it, the people have spoken.
We want to know.
No, it's up to us. No, we have to we have to do it. I'm contending, and this is the way it's going to be. And I don't think they're going to bring this up again necessarily, unless they do it by way of Leah. Mm-hmm. I really do think that he did this because that's all he knows. He needs an enemy. This was his enemy, and it wasn't enough to take their settlement. We have to kill them all. Maggie, I would have killed you all.
Take no survivors.
This is the going too far. This is the okay, you did the thing. And this is a conversation that you and I had. Yeah, you not only have to take their shit, you got to kill them all because this way they can't come back. The show is going to show the cost of that. And it's showing you now.
Yeah. I almost wonder if maybe Maggie did take out a few of the Reapers, and that's why Pope marked her.
That I would like to know, because you almost feel like there has to be a reason. But then I wonder if there really is one.
Maybe it was like a real son that she took out or something.
Well, now I'm wondering if some of those grave markers that Mencia, I don't know how to say, whatever. Hopefully we hear it at some point. The graves that he's praying over, maybe those were Reapers that Maggie killed.
before the conflict. Maybe.
Or during the conflict, yeah.
To Aiden's point, Angela Kang's podcast is going to sound like this. I'm Angela Kang, and this is a podcast pulverizing episodes of Squawking Dead. Sometimes they make you laugh, sometimes they make you cry, and sometimes they make Dave go cuckoo bananas. I said cuckoo bananas, not insane, because cuckoo bananas is something Dave says, because I'm in charge here. I'm in charge here, Aiden, goddammit.
And he's clearly gone cuckoo bananas.
Yeah. Oh. Oops.
Sharon, if you're hashtag Team Leah, I'm hashtag Team Dakota.
Ooh, snap, crackle, pop.
I'm not getting involved here, even though I like everything Rachel's saying right now.
She knows I'm kidding.
Does she? Because, if you say the wrong thing, she'll get a little stuck on that one thing. She'll be like, I'll never forget when you said you were Team Dakota.
Yeah.
Like
they didn't kill anyone yet.
A bunch of arrows just flew in the chat.
Yeah. And he says, she will tell you to get the fuck out
reserving. Right. I'm reserving my final opinion on Leah. My opinion of Leah fluctuates constantly, but I'm reserving my final thoughts for when she meets Carol. I want to see how Carol reacts to her, and then I'll decide if I really like her or not.
That is an interesting question, whether they will ever meet. And it's quite possible that they won't. I mean, just depending on what happens in the next episode, really. Or the one after.
I'm definitely feeling that possibility, but I do hope that it happens. I do hope they get to meet each other.
Well, and if they do...
How's it going to go?
Who knows? Who knows, right? I mean, who knows? It's a challenge for both Carol and Leah, because Carol, it's like, well, what would I have normally done? I would have killed the bitch. And Leah, what would I have normally done? I don't know. She couldn't kill that woman in the other scene with the family. Well, would she kill Daryl's best friend? I mean,
we're not even sure she knows about Carol.
Is Carver the Carol in this scenario, right? If you're thinking about in terms of, right? So
friendships, and we don't even know messy. We don't even know if Leah knows about Carol.
We're not 100%. Some people say yes.
She could kill.
I don't know.
She could try to kill Carol, not even knowing who she is. I mean, let's say Leah takes a group of Reapers to go follow Daryl and do something or whatever, and they see Carol and, try to attack or whatever. They might not even know who she is.
From what I hear, she's only going to be in, I think, 2 or 3 more episodes. So somebody is
I don't want to
take
know
her
that.
out. Not Carol, Leah.
Oh, thank God. Oh, my God.
Why would you thought Carol?
I think Rachel just froze.
Oh, man. My stomach just dropped.
That's information I didn't want to know about.
Like, how is that even possible? Okay.
No. I had heard that she was, like 2 or 3 more episodes. But, I don't know. They did say that she had renewed for, as a regular. But, how much of a regular are you going to be in the final season? So I don't know.
Yeah. Can you really be a regular when you join in the final season?
I mean, it's 24 episodes. Maybe. Who knows? I don't know. Sharon says she doesn't think that Leah's going to be gone because she just posted a picture of her trailer on set. She was back. Oh, that she was back. Oh, interesting.
Okay.
Interesting.
Okay.
And she was via satellite on Talking Dead. Okay.
Okay, good.
This is Lynn Collins, aka Leah.
Lynn.
Yeah. Okay.
Maybe all her people will die, and she'll be like,
kind of like Maggie in a way. Yeah, sure.
I need to come over to the all side and play now.
Well, I can easily see, naturally you would think, okay, the Commonwealth comes in, wipes out all the Reapers. But I also kind of think, what if the Reapers are the means, like another side force that could be used to straighten out the Commonwealth a little bit, or put them on their haunches or something like that. And this is kind of why I kind of compared Leah to like this remixed version of Sherry and Andrea. Like, okay, what if we did Sherry right? What if we did Andrea even more right, or differently? Like, kind of balance them out and put them in this one person. And I feel like she could be used for something greater, and could be a better character on the show than in the comic, let's say. Or obviously you can't have the Andrea that you had in the comic. There's not much to that, but there's maybe a spirit that you can leave in a remixed version of Sherry. Oh, she says big time jump, Sharon D. They put her in prison for years. She's going to be the new Negan. Yeah, I don't know. Put him in jail, sure. Oh, and then she could become a favorite. Oh, but this is the last season.
Does Daryl get conjugal visits?
Hey,
her and Negan wind up together.
Leah and Negan? That's hard to say.
I don't like it. Do you like it? I don't.
I could see Negan sort of wandering off after all of this, like he does in the books. Just sort of
With
goes
Leah?
off on his own. No, on his own.
okay.
On his own, by himself.
Well,
Finds a house to live in and grow old in.
if this was a conversation for like from like a couple years ago, I'd be like, oh, let's have a little fun with this. Like I don't know what's going to happen next, and I'm okay with that. I kind of want to just let it happen. I mean, this is like the unfortunate part of being this kind of podcast is like you still are a fan. You're still watching the show, waiting for things to unfurl. And sometimes you have to say the things, and sometimes you have to analyze some things. And sometimes I just want to just go, I just want to see what happens. Like, can I be a guy? Can I be a person? I don't know. Can I just be a fan and just let things happen and appreciate them for what they are? Like this episode is one of those things. Like a lot of things happen. Didn't have to break down too much, although we did revisit some themes and go a little harder and deeper. Okay. Oh boy. That's what we call making deep, people. But yeah, I like this episode though. Overall, I think the cliffhanger was a bit of a lame sauce one, but I don't care. Doesn't bother me. It's the first third, and that's kind of what I was getting to. It's like a soft mid-season finale. It's not like a what's the fate of Alexandria, Mom? No, it's like not like that.
Okay. Yeah, I mean that's okay because they could come back with episode 9, kick our ass right out of the gate.
Unexpectedly.
Like we should be having this crazy cliffhanger. Nah, but we're gonna mess your world up on the very first time back. You know.
And we won't see it coming, maybe. You know, I think it doesn't help that they're squeezing in all these series back to back. It really doesn't help. Because if you have to look this way while you're just getting over that way, you know, where's the impact? This is kind of what we were talking about in the episode with Just Keep Walking, Ben. It's like, okay, can we have a little bit of break to kind of start getting worried? Can we have a little bit of break to appreciate where we're at? Maybe think about the past few episodes and how they all make sense against one another. Can we have a little bit of a break? No, we have to binge watch, but week to week. And then we binge watch Walking Dead World Beyond. We binge watch Fear the... So you can't stop to think about what just happened. I want to absorb what's been going on. I kind of want to appreciate, I want to savor it. If you like what you heard, head over to ratethispodcast.com/squawkingdead. 5 stars and an eggplant is all we need to know that you love us. But please tell the world what you liked, what you didn't like about us, but tell them nonetheless after every episode. It's a good way of communicating with us what you didn't like, what you'd prefer, what we missed. And if you really enjoy what we're doing and you want to follow our journey, maybe you want to show up in the chat just like Aiden and Alania and even Sharon, who popped off the camera and went into the chat because she had a little headache.
Popped off.
Yeah. Well, she popped a few migraine medicines and then she went into the chat because she still loves us for some reason. I don't know what we did to deserve our love. But if you think we might deserve your love, head over to ko-fi.com, set up an account, and follow us on ko-fi.com/squawkingdead. Just follow us. You don't have to give us money. You don't have to tip us. You don't have to join a membership or anything like that. It's a good way to know what's happening behind the scenes, because if we are having an interview just like the one we dropped with Mo Collins, you can be in the audience while we record, seeing all the mistakes we make, and also seeing all the mistakes maybe our guests make. That happens too sometimes. You wouldn't know. But had you been following us at ko-fi.com/squawkingdead, you would. But if you do want to show up in the audience while we're recording our episode breakdowns or another interview, well, you can tip us and get 30 days of supporter back content, or you can join one of our membership tiers for as little as $1 a month. Isn't that crazy? Yes, for $1 a month, you will be able to join the audience. You will be able to get the unedited episode recordings. But hey, I'm not going to twist your arm. It's a great idea. I think it doesn't cost anything to follow us. So I've been your host, David Cameo. I've been joined by Cosmom09, Sharon D, aka Blazy Gardner, and of course our Survivors tier member, Eliza J, who got to host the show with us because she followed us and eventually gave us money every month, and then she's just here hosting the show because that's a perk for being a Survivor.
Thank you, Eliza.
And she's been a gift. Just a blessing.
I'm a prostitute for the show.
Eliza, technically, we're the prostitutes in this scenario.
Well, yeah, that's right. I pay you.
Good night, folks. Good night, folks. See you next time.
You whore.
Thank you so much for making it to the end of this episode. We had a lovely, lovely discussion revolving around the Season 11A mid-season finale of The Walking Dead's final season. This episode has actually been brought to you by our Survivors tier members, Eliza, at Eliza Jones 71, at jasmine.iac, and at Whisperers UK. And this episode has also been brought to you by our Whisperers tier members, at Judith.Morton, at Aiden _Atkin _ at Snick3, and at FanArtLindy, who's also at ko-fa.com/fanartlindy. All of the aforementioned screen names are on Instagram. Lovely people who decided to support us. These are the perks they get at the end of every episode, but you can get those perks too. Just follow us at ko-fi.com/squawkingdead so you know when we actually record, when our unedited episode recordings drop, when we have an upcoming interview that you can be in the audience, attending, asking questions, getting recognition. It all happens when you follow. We do not post these things on social media most of the time, but so the only way you're going to know is really follow us on ko-fi.com/squawkingdead. But hey, if you want to join in on the fun, you see something you like, you can always tip us for 30 days of supporter-backed content. And if you really want to jump into the water, you can join one of our membership tiers for as little as $1 a month. The aforementioned screen names that I mentioned on Instagram, those are Whisperers and Walker tiers. Sorry, Whisperers and Survivors tiers. They get credits at the end of the episode, and the Survivors tiers have the ability to host with us. So, like Eliza did for this one. So, I know that we're on hiatus until February, at least for The Walking Dead, but we are cranking full steam ahead on the Fear the Walking Dead and The Walking Dead World Beyond train. So, we will see you in the next one for those. And I need some sleep.